Coming up on this episode of The Brain Drain Show.
Just like stuck at the lights and felt my neck. I was like, I've got a lump there. I know that this isn't like something I should be worried about and diagnosed with thyroid cancer. When I was 25, I didn't really give a shit about the cancer. It was when they were like, oh, you need to take pills for the rest of your life. I was like between stage 2 and 3. I've been in remission now for 8 or 9 years. I had like 3 VX1000's at that point. Sold my 3 VX1000's and the Mark 1 fisheye for over double that I paid for it. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't use these cameras anymore. And I think I sold them all back to Brownie. I got a call from Jerome Loughran when he was working at Shiner to say, Nicky's mentioned that you're filming with him at the moment. Do you want to come on a venture trip? And I was just like, why have they asked me to do this? I'm so out of my depth. An 18-year-old kid didn't know what I was doing with all these legends that I'd watched in videos. He was like, oh, we're going to do the big push again next year. Do you want to do it as well? I was like, you're insane. I still don't ever really stop. When people are trying to trick on and give it mile to get their trick, they're putting an effort in, why shouldn't I? That was the start of the videos that I'd made where I was fully proud of what I'd made. At that point, I didn't let anyone see any footage or like any rough cuts or anything. A little bit of trivia in Little Paradise, Snaddon's song, the Lock Off track. He chose that before the Palace video came out. Stressful because I had 2 VX1000's at that point, I think. One of them, the colour chip, busted on the first day. He busted his ankle on a crisp packet, like slipped over a crisp packet. And he kicked off the waiters there because they, for whatever reason, couldn't make him a pizza without cheese. I think that was the year that Stu Graham took on the course. It was like 4 years between Perfect Boys and Little Paradise because I was contributing footage to so many different people. Pictures of sausages, the first cinema camera, the 6K. And as I was setting up, I was thinking this could work for skateboarding. My aunt works at the BBC, she's a producer. She sent me a picture of her with a VX1000. I was like, Jude, do you realise the significance of this camera that you're posing with? She's like, no. Bottom line is he shouldn't have been flying a plane and should not have been allowed to fly a plane whatsoever. Jamie was, just before his 14th birthday, he died. And I've got the story inside me of my friend and I don't know how to tell it. And they're like, well, James, it's staring you in the face, mate. Just tell it from your perspective. I've put myself on record to say that I think they're one of the best cameras out there and I still believe that. I think that in today's climate, I don't think they're relevant. Thank you. Cheers.
Good evening and welcome to another great episode of The Brain Drain Show with me, Forde Brookfield. Joined to my left is my trusty co-host, best friend, part-time lover, full-time superhero hunk, Toby. Tell him your name.
Part-time lover.
Part-time.
I thought we were full-time.
Can be if you want. Toby Batchelor,
Hi.
Tell him your name.
You just did. Hi. Who's on the podcast today, Forde?
Joined to our left, very special guest, great filmer. I've liked his work for a long time and personally wanted to get him on this show. The one, the only, James Harris is in the studio. Can we please have a clap?
Can we,
Fist bump. Let's get
when we say,
Right.
can everyone in the audience clap? Can we start putting in some fake rounds of
like
applause?
canned,
Yeah,
like
because
canned clap.
today there's only one person here. It's producer Sean.
100 people.
On the 1-2s, producer Sean. Hello. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
All
thank
the
you
way
for
from
coming.
Bristol.
Yep, yeah.
Back there, Bristol.
We've had quite a lot of people come up from those areas, haven't we, Bristol? Who did we have on? Wes?
Wes.
Who else came from Bristol? Oh no, I was thinking of Dykey, but
It's not
Close
Bristol,
enough.
mate.
I mean, just over the
It's
bridge.
that direction.
yeah.
But it's not.
Are you in that
Bristol.
direction?
Yeah.
Let's start off like we always do. Where are you from originally, and how did you discover skateboard whiz planking?
So I'm from Warmley, which is like a tiny village between Bristol and Bath.
Yeah.
And I grew up skateboarding. Well, I started at school, the age of 11, I think. My friend George, shout out George Griffiths.
Big up George Griffiths.
Shout out
Big up George Griffiths.
He started a website called 509, which was like a little skate crew thing. And
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want to get in on that.
An actual website?
Yeah, an actual website.
Not a blog spot?
No,
I remember everyone had a blog spot for a
It
while.
was not. It was a .tk, like the first like free. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
One of those.
A .tk?
.tk.
I don't remember .tk, but I remember the free kind of like Wix template websites.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So he did that for a while. Like we just shot pictures of each other, and then one day overnight he just changed the page to just pictures of sausages.
This guy sounds like a legend.
He is a legend, yeah. He's
sort of
he's
thing
quite
I'd
similar
do.
to Dykey. He runs loads and does like marathons. And
Oh,
he's a
nice,
machine.
nice. Yeah. That like sausages.
Yeah, he changed it to sausages, and I was bummed, and that was it. That was the end of that crew.
No.
And then I was like, oh, I still want to like document skate stuff, so I just picked up a camera.
So did he stop skating completely?
No,
just-
I carried on skateboarding.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do the crew thing anymore. And then I just became like the filmer, photography of various different groups, and met various friends along the way. And then, I mean, this is this will kind of be relevant to later on. I met a few friends in the surrounding areas, like there's a place called Emerson's Green where there's a skate park. In memory of my friend Jamie Clapp, who my last film that I just finished was all about.
Yeah, we'll get on to that.
Yeah.
Great film, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Great film.
Yeah, it's a labour of love, that one. And and from there I just kind of like branched out into Bristol a lot, and then I think the moment I started to kind of get in on the Bristol scene more was when I went to the first Skate Calf video premiere, which was this. I think it was just called Skate Calf. It was like
the OG.
Yeah, with
like
the
OG
egg,
calf.
the DVD. Yeah. So I went to that premiere and got talking to Jason Lure. I was like, Jason Lewer's got my favourite part in that video. So I was just like, basically just like flirted with him on Facebook. Was like, I love your part, mate. Do you fancy come and film with me?
I've done loads of flirting with people to get filming. Yeah.
And that's where it all started, really.
Yeah. When you got into skating, did you just immediately, because I kind of immediately drifted straight towards having a camera. I don't know what it was. I think it was kind of wanting to make short little horror films with my friends.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? Just like kids, like 12, 13-year-old kind of digicam things. So did you just go straight from skating straight into buying a camera because your mate stopped the website? That was just your...
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, what attracted you to it? Was it because he left and you thought things were being undocumented?
Yeah,
that's how I felt. Yeah.
And then, I've never been as good as my friends. And then I broke my arm, and then it was kind of like, okay, I want to still be in with my friendship group. So I just picked up a camera.
Yeah.
My parents have always been like very, very supportive, and they've always bought cameras for me along the way.
Yeah.
What was your first camera?
It was a little JVC CAD cam with like it had an SD card port, a DV cam bit, and a hard drive on the side. You could do like some
little bit of everything.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know, I saw on Instagram the other day, someone's made, so you know how everyone's digitalising the VXs? They've now made one where an SD card goes into the tape deck, so you don't have to have the box on the side anymore. It just records straight.
I saw that this morning, actually.
Yeah.
It's a guy on a black screen, and he's just straight into the tape deck.
Incredible.
It's insane that people are really pushing to keep that camera going by any means necessary. I remember when I had one and it'd like, if the tape head's jammed or something going on. Do you remember Skate Perception?
Yeah.
I remember going on that website, like there was no, or was it Skateception? I'm sure it was like Skate Perception.
Skate Perception,
that was it.
Just learning how to fix cameras from that, which I later learned was through Matt Hurst up in Sheffield, who filmed like the blueprint stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
that
got
he had
banned
something
from that website because
you were uploading dick pics all the time, weren't you?
No, not to that website. I went on there and said that Century had come out with a new lens called the Megadeth lens, and
that got you banned.
The British humour didn't really translate across the waters,
Which is insane.
Oh.
I can remember the
The
first.
fact I'm laughing at my own joke.
It's amazing though.
25 years later.
I can remember the first camera I bought going from a square photo Panasonic to a Handycam. It was tape with firewire, and I can remember I really wanted it. My mum bought it, and I opened it at the age of 12, and I was like, how the fuck do I use this? And I remember my mum flipping out because it was like, how do you use? Even then, it was like, how are we going to use tape?
Yeah.
And this was 20 something years ago, and we took it back, and I got like a Sony camera that was like almost kind of round-ish, but the screen was quite big on it, and you could screw on like a fisheye, and it was like, it wasn't a wide fisheye by any means. And then my first girlfriend's stepdad built got like a metal handle and just bent it. And
my dad did that for me as well.
I put a BMX grip on it, and I was like, fucking hell, I've made it. I've actually made it. It felt amazing.
It's funny the lengths you go to sometimes to make or doctor stuff for what you need.
It is, yeah.
Like what we were talking about earlier off camera, like with that rig I've got with that new fisheye for mine, but like you saying making a handle. I remember early internet days, there was a company in Nottingham before I lived up here, and they made lots of camera rigs, and I asked them, I was like, I need a base plate with a bit of shock absorbing something on it that screws into the bottom with the handle over it, and they made me one. It was only about 30 quid. They did a bespoke one, and it was amazing. I don't know where the fuck that is now. It was really good, but yeah, you kind of have to do that, don't you? Because you always need different things, and right now with my rig, screen goes on top, but there's nowhere to put a light. So I potentially need something else to have the light on as well.
Yeah, I mean, with mine, I've got like a side bracket thing that I can attach the light to the side. Or if it's just fisheye and I don't need the monitor, I'll just stick a light on the top.
Yeah.
Microphone has to stay. That's a necessity.
That clip we filmed, Sean, of you on that new lens. That's just
amazing.
iPhone microphone.
Yeah.
And I
you
don't
didn't
care.
touch
Like,
your microphone, did you? No.
no one listens to anything or
Oh.
blows anything. Anyway,
I was
sorry.
been told that audio is like worth over half the picture. That's
Do you ever think
I'm
that
deaf, so
from a filmer's perspective, do you ever feel like you put like in skateboarding, because we'll talk about freelance work later.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
But in skating, do you feel like you put all the effort into the camera and then people watching it wouldn't care if it was filmed on an extreme lens or something cheaper? Do you think the average viewer just doesn't really...
yeah, I'd say so.
Or do you think it's changed now because of social media? People are more aware of how a good skate video is filmed.
Well, I like to think that people do pay attention to it. I mean, if I'd look at a video and it was kind of a mishmash of different mediums,
Yeah, you'd
that would be
notice.
pretty messy. I think
Yeah.
if you're gonna go for a look, whether it's like budget or like on the other end of the spectrum where it's like it's really cinematic, you need to stay in that lane. But to answer your question, I think that I care.
I think it's the people who know about that stuff will notice it and care about it.
Yeah,
And it's kind of, that's what you're doing it for, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's almost like
Yeah.
to
But it's like
get the acknowledgement from the peers.
It's like at the time when that real video came out and it was half VX, half HD. At the time, I loved it, and I watch it back now, and you can tell that they've not quite figured out the HD setups.
No, not at all.
Like they've not quite got the extreme at that moment in time, or they've got like a circular fisheye on it, and they've zoomed in, and all the different aspect ratios. Now I watch it, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch this anymore.
I mean, what they should have done really is kind of split it, so you have the VX bit and the HD bit,
That's what I always thought.
or make it so that you keyframe the HD stuff. Like wasn't there a cricket video or something where Bobby Worth's footage, I want to say where it was like VX at first, and then did a really good job of bringing the HD stuff in.
I think Creature did that as well. It was all VX, and then halfway through one of the clips they keyframe it so the sides come out, and it kind of nicely transitions
Slowly
into the
expands out.
Yeah, and it looked like a cinema screen opening. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Or you can just do what DGK did on that video, where they just stretched all the VX to match the HD interludes that they made. Was someone's re-edited that video and put it back to its 4:3.
I mean, I was guilty of doing that when I was really
I've done
young.
it.
Yeah. I thought it looked cool, and also I didn't really know what I was doing. And then later down the line, I forget. I think Hold Tight Henry gave me shit on it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I need to sort this out.
I can remember years ago uploading videos to YouTube, and someone had came up with a code, and it's still embedded in my brain. Like if you filmed anything square and you wanted it to be the new YouTube standard for 16:9, in the hashtags you'd put equals and YT.16, and it. Do you remember that? And it stretched your video for you.
Yeah,
so you
Willock
didn't
showed me that.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm glad that people are on that same level of tism.
I think I kind of skipped that.
Well, I think you were just a couple of years prior to that.
Maybe. I don't know. I just want to talk a bit more nerd stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Because unfortunately, you've got 3 filmers here, so we need to
Oh dear.
So you're set up now. We were talking a bit earlier. So you're on Blackmagic, yeah?
Yeah.
So give us a little rundown on your rig. I'm always interested in seeing what people are using. Do you want to hold it up so we can kind of see on that camera as you're talking about it as well?
So I've got the Blackmagic, the first cinema camera, the 6K.
Yeah.
Which takes the Canon lenses. So I've got the old Canon Fit EF mount lenses. Josh Hallett recommended the Anicine monitor.
Yeah.
Because on the back here, the screen doesn't like rotate or flip out or anything, so I need a monitor. Sennheiser microphone, and then because the battery in the Blackmagics is pretty bad, got like a small rig plate on the easy handle to give me extra power. So I'll probably get about 4 hours of battery life on that. And I found this camera kind of by chance. I was filming some stuff with work in Australia for one of our clients, and it was all to do with cars and like connectivity with safety and whatnot. And we had the big Blackmagic Ursas that we were shooting the majority of stuff with. But then we knew we wanted to get on car like rig setup, so we were looking into options that would fit the look of the other cameras. And the Pocket 6K was the best because it's the same sensor as the Ursa's.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot more compact. And as I was setting up, I was thinking this could work for skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I had like 3 VX1000's at that point. And I knew that it was kind of only a matter of time before they were going to be phased out with the support of with the DV codec.
Yeah.
So I picked one up, and then not long after that, to fund all the rest of the stuff I needed to get to make the Pocket usable for what I needed to use it for, I sold my 3 VX1000's and the Mark 1 fisheye for over double that I paid for it.
Mm.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't use these cameras anymore. People are still lapping them up. And I think I sold them all back to Brownie. I bought them all from Brownie and sold them back.
The VX
It's
dock.
mental,
Yeah,
isn't it?
the VX dock.
The Mark 1 fisheye, like, oh God, I can't even remember how much I sold mine for. It wasn't much.
Yeah, I think I sold
now
mine for
they're
about
worth-
700-800.
Yeah, they're worth a lot.
To Rich Smith, who now I think he's sold it to Phil Parker.
Yeah,
So
they do it
Yeah.
around.
yeah,
But I think Phil Parker's also got he's just gone to the extreme
yes, yeah.
with the HVX200, so with the tape deck, which is even heavier,
God, I couldn't do
which
it
is
anymore.
which is fucking
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
That's a lot of camera.
It's a lot of weight.
It is. Yeah.
The user interface on Blackmagic cameras look quite interesting.
Oh, it's basically just like an
like-
iPhone on a
Yeah,
on a
so
professional
super
camera. Yeah, it's so
like
easy.
easy to pick up and use.
Yeah.
So when you're filming skating, what are you shooting frame rate, and what can you get out of that?
Usually I shoot ProRes in 4K.
Yeah.
Frame rate wise, usually shoot at 50, just so I got the option to slow down. My shutter's usually 125, I think, 125. But you can also do shutter angle on that as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's whole.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Blackmagic stuff. Like, you know, we use like the Blackmagic switcher for doing this podcast, and we use Resolve, DaVinci Resolve Studio,
Nice, yeah.
and then using that app on the phone, which is free as well,
Yeah,
which
it's great.
blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then you've got
Yeah.
that, and then just on a tangent, like 28 years later is filmed on iPhones, isn't it?
Yes. Well, parts of it, yeah. I watched the thing with Danny Boy yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you mates with Danny Boyle?
No, I'm not. Just on YouTube. But
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Legend.
you were saying like you went to
Gone
like
there
some
with me.
cinema thing and
Oh no, no.
So not all of it's shot on a phone, but
No,
some
just
of
like the rigs, the body
Yeah.
rigs are iPhones, and then the rest of it's like various different
Yeah,
cameras.
yeah. But I think that's just insane that... Who was it we were talking to about... Oh, I was talking to Avi about this the other day, that you can film, edit, and essentially distribute
on a phone.
straight out your pocket.
And kids don't have good.
Like, if you
good
said that
equipment.
to me when I first picked up a camera, like, 91, 92, I'd just been like your points of reference would have been so different then, that you're going to have a phone that's in your pocket that can do it all for you in 25, 30.
How when you picked up a camera in 91, 92?
About that, yeah.
So I was one. Was it?
No, I was one in 91.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
a VHS shoulder mounted one. That was our first camera that we started messing around with.
Wow.
Which
Talking about-
makes me sound
Talking about
this
20
shit.
years.
You look great though.
Thank you. I moisturise every
Yeah,
day. I've done
youthful.
for years.
Talking about 28 years later, the original one was shot on the GL1, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Which was
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
absolutely terrible
That camera
It
is.
looks sick though.
camera.
It
But
looks
for that,
amazing.
but for that film, the grain, like the
Oh,
dark,
yeah,
because
yeah.
those cameras always had a lot of grain on them.
Yeah, they
That
did.
was so
It
shit.
For that film alone, it looks really good.
does.
Like the fact, like, and then they bought out that. I can't remember what it was called. There
The
was the XM1, the XM2, the G. It was called the GL in America.
Yeah, that
and then
was-
they bought out that bigger body one with the interchangeable lens.
Yes.
And I always wanted one. And thinking back on it, I'm like, I would have looked like such a fucking cock filming skateboarding with this like body that was like this shape and like they're like huge.
It was weird, wasn't it? It's like a
I
squid
might
or
just.
something.
I always just want to get these cameras now though, just to put them on a shelf.
Yeah, because
like
it's
I've
part
got
of skating
like
history, isn't it?
I've got the DBX 100, the Panasonic.
I like the way those look.
I think it was their equivalent to like what Sony was doing.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
Jim Craven filmed that 7 video. And with the Mark 1, it's like the VIG's just so big on it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I've got one of those sat on a shelf back home.
What's the fisheye you reckon on that?
The
Samyang.
Samyang 8mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the widest you can get for that EF mount.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it could. I'd like it a little bit wider if possible. But
Yeah.
I like the setup.
Have you seen the little 3.5? How do you pronounce it? Mikey
Yes.
lens.
Yeah.
That's what I've got on that. It's too wide.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You can get in there so
absolutely
far, and
ridiculous.
you still can't get in far enough.
That's dangerous.
It's you have to do a bit in post with it. You have to sort of crop it in, and so if you shoot 4K or above, and then crop it in, and then
It looks good if you crop it in. Then
yeah,
you
just needs to do work.
You have to lay like a vig on it though. Like I've never quite found a good fake like a fake vig overlay without looking at it and being like that's fake.
You can always tell the way the light hits the vig.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
subtly
Yeah.
you can tell. If
Like
it's
the
fake or not.
Dickie's honeymoon video, there's fake vig in
there?
that. I can remember when I first watched it, I put straight on my Instagram story like, I didn't wait years for this video just for them to use a fake vig overlay. So I think it was a mixture of like the Panasonic cameras, like maybe the Lumix, then it was like with the Century Xtreme lens. So flicking between the 8mm, which I'm using now, to the Xtreme, you can tell the difference in them. And you can tell the difference in the colour codecs in them as well.
Have you seen? I don't know. I probably pronounced it wrong. The lens company Laowa.
Yes, yeah.
They've just come out with an 8-15 fisheye.
Have they?
Yeah, and it's more compact than the Canon 8-15.
Interesting.
Fuck,
Is it cheaper as well?
I don't know.
Okay.
Could you just Google that, please, Sean? Laowa. Is that how you pronounce it?
LA what? Sorry.
Laowa 8-15 mil fisheye.
Me and Toby always talk about how no company's made a mini Xtreme.
One of those
lens.
boys.
Like,
It should say it's only just come out now. I can't see from
That's
it.
it, isn't it?
I don't know. But somebody was testing it the other day. Chris
Is
Ray.
it one of those?
No, it's not.
Hang on, 8-15, 2.8.
Is
Zoom
that it?
fisheye. Yeah, that's a
that's
Sony
it.
E mount, but yeah.
Yeah, 700 quid compared to what's the Canon go for now? 850, 900.
I got mine for 6.
Yeah,
Got
no,
mine for
but brand
600
new,
quid.
brand new.
Yeah, I got mine for. Well, probably got mine second hand.
Yeah,
But yeah, we always talk about, and we'll get onto it again, the Century Xtreme lenses. Just how's no company anywhere has made
done a rectangular.
a smaller version, but I don't know if heating the glass to that degree, if you need it a certain width, because it'll crack or it just won't work. But we'll probably get onto
Yeah,
that.
it's also made for that aspect ratio, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have to be specific to
I think,
16:9 or...
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? And then when you're going into, because they were losing money, weren't they? Even switching the machine on to it. But like, you've got so many different cameras
Yeah, yeah.
that it's got to be, if you're going to mass produce something, it's got to be able to adapt to each of those cameras, and then each one's going to be different because sensors are different. Blah, blah, blah,
Did
blah,
you see
blah.
the picture that I think it was Def Lens fisheye sales put up of Beagle? I think it was with the Lumix G6 body, and then they had a converter to mount it with an Xtreme lens
Oh,
on
really?
the end. It was it was God, fuck it, it was
I mean,
insane.
that's
It looked like this big, but then cameras get so big with the batteries at the back that you can't physically get them down and point them up high
No,
enough
Yeah,
for it
there's
to
no.
film skating.
And the weight's going to be all off as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be unbalanced.
It's funny how, like, the VX1 was the clear winner for such a long
gorgeous, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The only downside to it was obviously it was prone to, because of its age, fucking up.
Yeah.
But also the low light was a bit shit. But it was such a good camera.
It was.
I used to love filming with
Yeah.
that. Like,
I do miss mine, but I made the right choice in cinema.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
But
glad that I got one because it teaches you how to film without relying on a screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Like
it's good for
you
that.
you know
Yeah.
you learn your width pretty easy from where you need to be and what degree you need to point it up to not even look at a
That's
lens
it. Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And that lens I was talking about, the 3.5 for the GH6 I got, that's wider than the Mark 1 by quite a lot. It can almost see behind. It can see the battery grip of the GH6 in the
Yeah.
God. It's fucking mental.
pretty
You have
crazy.
to really be like that. It's almost too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so the VX1 was always the clear winner. We'll get back to talking about you in a
Yeah,
sec.
yeah, no,
sorry,
no,
keep
crack
going
on,
off your
yeah.
tangent. There's nothing has really come out as being the overall clear winner, has it, for a long time? I wish somebody would do something or
With
make
the
it.
VX1 build at least.
Just having that, and I don't know.
To today's standards, like all the specs you want from today's technology into that.
I'm waiting to see
Yeah, imagine that.
someone.
That'd be good,
be
wouldn't it?
incredible,
Yeah.
wouldn't
I'm waiting to see someone somewhere completely take apart a VX body and put a HD component in it and wire it to make it work. But then it's the translation between like the zoom lens and the focus, which is the bit that causes the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who's done 3D printed mini VX1 handles that you
Yes.
put a GoPro in the end?
Yeah.
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 I like that stuff. I mean, it just shows you, doesn't it? That, like everyone was
really
such
does.
fans of the VX1.
And the microphone as well.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, you can't front on that.
beat
The sound is
No, the
just,
microphone
no.
was amazing.
you just straight away it's on
Yeah.
VX1.
And people have got those, is it wooden camera? Like
Yeah,
microphones that they've
The
got.
VX mic.
Yeah.
It's close, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Close, but not quite there.
not quite.
Close but no cigar.
So way back then, you said you were kind of heading into Bristol
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Who were some of the first people you were skating with in Bristol, and when did you start? Let's say, what were some of the first videos you did, and where did you see with that progression getting more? What the fuck have you got there?
Some sweets. James gave me some Haribo.
James bought in a load of chocolate and sweets, so thank you very much for that.
Num num num. num.
Going into
Num, num,
Bristol,
num, num, num.
that progression and kind of like taking filming a lot more seriously, would you say?
Well, yeah, as I said, flirting with Jason Lure was my in. And then we had this, well, I say we, there was a warehouse in Hannam, which actually is not far at all from where I grew up in Warmley, which was where you, if the Sidewalk website was still around, you would be able to search UK Ramp Hire Warehouse. And it was where this company, I think James Guthrie was a part of it. They used to store their ramps in this old warehouse. The land was owned by Tesco and Clean Easy. And basically it was, I think, Camelot people just basically employ people to live there and be security. Skateboarders lived there, and then I went there a few times just filming tricks in this warehouse in the winter, and then Nicky Howells was there, and got to know Nicky really well.
Big up Nicky Howells.
Big up Nicky. And then from that, it was just, like dabbling with different people, filming different people. And then I think my first video was like a love letter to Alien Workshop, basically. Like, it was called Prism. And again, if you look at that video, I mean, I've got a copy somewhere in my loft, I think. But it's all over the place. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with the aspect ratio or anything. But if I look back, that's probably not the most creative and passionate I was not passionate, but definitely the most creative video I've done in terms of just like chucking everything in. It's quite wild. And then whilst I was making that, I got a call from Jerome Loughran when he was working at Shiner.
Yeah.
To say, Nicky's mentioned that you're filming with him at the moment. Do you want to come on a venture trip? Because George Nevin was then unable to do it. And I was just like, why have they asked me to do this? I'm so out of my depth. So I did a venture tour to Kent, and that was with Nicky, Smedley, Snads, Adam Howe, and Dylan Hughes and Dan Wellman.
I mean,
Wow,
that is.
I think Barney was meant to be on it, but he was busy on an East trip, I think.
That is a heavy bunch of.
But I was like an 18-year-old kid, didn't know what I was doing with all these legends that I'd watched in videos.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is going on? And I'd somehow managed to just like keep up with them. And
around that time, Nicky Howells and Adam Howe, they were like technically probably
incredible.
The most consistent I've seen technical skaters be in person. Like,
yeah.
Like I was saying to you earlier, that the backside nose grind, Nolly Biggie Hill out of Milton Keynes that I filmed with Nicky, it didn't take long at all.
That's insane.
And Adam Howe, fucking hell, he was an absolute. I mean, he's still skating, still killing it.
Such a lovely, gentle guy that would just like out of nowhere just do the most amazing stuff.
Yeah, so good. I was me and Adam and Leo was there actually as well. Went to County Hall in Hertford. Big hammer in there, horrible like chrome, really thin. I think it's like 8 or 9 stairs.
The real sticky kind of.
It's horrible,
rails,
yeah. And he did backside tailside fakie down it, like just piss. You know, it's just easy. And it's 8 or 9 stairs, but it's long.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So where did things go after that venture?
Sorry,
After that venture trip, then did you do more stuff for Shiner?
Yeah. We literally got back from the trip. I went to Shiner, just went through the warehouse, picked up what I was given.
Did you get a shopping trolley?
Not a shopping trolley, but I was given like an allocated amount of credits or whatever, and then just picked a lot of stuff on their system.
What did you get? Go on, tell us. Give us a breakdown.
I think it was a new cruiser board, and then at that point in time, Jerome was just giving me. They were doing Habitat shoes, and he would just give me Habitat shoes every month, whatever. So that was like a deal I had with them.
Good.
And then when we were in the office, he was like, "Oh, we're going to do the big push again next year. Do you want to do it as well?" I was like, "You're insane, let me do it." But yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Well, he must have been impressed with what
I don't know why. Looking back at my stuff then, I mean, me personally, I think it's absolutely terrible. But I guess that's development. But I guess they must have seen. Jerome liked, I guess, the rawness of. Was
he on the tour with you?
Yeah.
So he saw how you were, and he probably was like, "Okay, well, you know, you put in the work."
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I did. I still don't ever really stop.
Yeah.
When people are trying to trick, I want to give it mild to get their trick. If they're putting an effort in, why shouldn't I? And I'll only kind of take a break when when there's an opportunity to. Like if they're all like sat down or whatever, I'll try and get the B-roll and like capture the story of what's going on.
Or just go for a shit in that time.
Well, yeah,
Because the amount of times, the amount of times I've been filming and I've been like, and then they've done it and I've like
sweaty,
rolled away, filmed it, high-fived and turned off the camera and ran. Just ran to the toilet. Yeah.
It's the worst, isn't it? When you don't want to break the kind of the moment, the vibe of somebody trying to get something. You're desperate for a piss.
So desperate, yeah.
It's almost like you daren't be like, can you wait a minute? I'm just going to piss and shit myself.
Yeah,
God. I don't care anymore. I just like, I need a piss.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm still in that phase now. If I'm out filming on the weekend, that like I will sacrifice my bladder if someone's getting closer to actually doing like landing something. So were you doing a lot of work for Shiner then? Do you remember the Pixels?
Yeah, I did loads of stuff for Pixels. Yeah.
I can remember. I was in Spain for a couple of months. I did a Luke McManus VX
He's a
crooked.
nightmare, isn't he?
Like,
fucking hell. He left me waiting in Birmingham coach station, I think it was, for the entire day. And we were meant to go to Manchester on a skate trip, and he, all right, Luke. He was impossible to get hold of.
yeah.
I was just left there. We meant to go and film some stuff for Pixels in Manchester, and he was like, "Yeah, sorry, mate, I've been pissed all night and I've hit my head." And I was like, "Great." So I had to like beg Shiner to pay for me to get the train back home. Spent the entire day.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I can just remember doing that edit and then that being put onto like the Pixels Volume 1, and I can just remember being like, I must have been like 22 or 23, which saying it then sounded like quite old. Let's say like 22, 23 to get like a published edit on another website. But now looking at it at 33, I'm like, that wasn't old at all.
No, not
I was
at all.
like so young.
No.
And I can remember getting it and then them sending me a couple of copies and being like, Mom,
I've made
got my
it.
first video on it. And then Alan edited it to not a very good song.
Well, they were at the mercy of music rights and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing edits, it was just like you can only use this like library of music.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, you have to do it obviously for legal reasons. But when you think like, oh, I want this track because I know it fits with this person, or like, but
I know it sounds like really like, I know there's reasons for that. I get that, you know. Fucking hell, skating was so good when you didn't have to worry about shit like that.
It was,
You could just put whatever music you want on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Skin told me a really interesting story. I don't know if you heard him. He was talking about, I can't remember how it came up. He was saying when he was at Transworld, the reason there's quite a lot of David Bowie tracks used in skate videos around that kind of 2000s onwards is because Bowie had a massive apartment. I think he said it was either in Long Beach or Venice. So he would always see skateboarders outside, and he was really into skateboarders.
Wow.
So like whenever they went to his record label and they asked him, he was like, "Yeah, absolutely,"
Amazing.
and he'd do it at next to nothing or free.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
It's a rad little
That's
story.
really
It was something
cool,
like that.
yeah.
I'm paraphrasing it, so someone will probably go, "He didn't live there. He didn't say that." Fuck. I don't
You'll find
care.
it in the comments.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. We need to talk about who's sponsoring this episode of the Brain Drain Show. Toby, take it away.
Today's episode is sponsored by you.
You is a supernatural, delicious sparkling water with full fruit flavour. 0 sugar, 0 sweetener, no calories, and nothing artificial. The brand is built on a radical simplicity. Sparkling water, fruit extract, and nothing else.
You is a great way to stay hydrated during the session. Comes in 3 different flavours. Crispy apple, my favourite here. Zesty lemon and pink rhubarb. All with 0 sugar, 0 sweetener, 0 calories, and nothing artificial.
Toby, let's crack one of these bad bitches open and get back to the show right now.
ASMR. You.
Did you ever, talking about like royalty-free music and stuff, this is a bit of a side tangent, but how have you handled it in the past if you're filming a video and someone's like, I want to use this song, and you're like, it won't really go with your part, I've got this in mind, and then they're like, I don't like that song, it won't go, and then you're the one filming and editing it and you know that it will, and like you almost just want to be like, it will work. I'm telling you it will work. Like, have you ever had that with anyone? Or because I've known, I'm not going to name filmers, but I've known people to film parts and then they've not got on with the skateboarder in regards to the song. So the filmer's just been like, oh, the part's not going in then because the song's so bad.
That's brutal.
Like,
It is really important music for skate videos, isn't it? It's really integral to it.
but you know what I mean? Like when you're sat there editing it, you see how it works,
you
but
can
then
kind of
But
Put
then
it in.
I imagine that the person filming the trick with like a song in their head, like mentally visualizing it, they think it's going to fit, and you try it and you try it and it doesn't go, or it does go, but the whole layout of the video is affected by that one song. I don't think they understand that. So how, like, have you ever faced that? And if you have, how have you ever like wormed around it to be like, I know what's best?
Well, when I made Little Paradise, I got everyone to give
Great
me
video,
like,
by the way.
Thank you very much. That's. I mean, we can go back to that, but that's one. That was the start of the videos that I've made where I was fully proud of what I'd made.
Yeah, there is always a tipping point, isn't there, when
really
you watch
is.
it back and you're like, I'm really proud of like that video. Like I get it, but like I said, there's the odd time where I'm like, I would have chose a different song, but I'm quite proud of it.
So I got everyone to give me a few options for music there. So I had an idea of what styles they would like, and then I kind of picked and choose from that. But there's only been one time where I've had a little bit of a disagreement, and that was with Scott Whittaker. When I did an edit called Daylight, I had so many flags on YouTube. They were just like, yeah, you can't go any further. And it was like Cobalt Media Licensing or something. Were just like, yeah, you got so many flags on your account. So you need to use music. I had to use music that I had permission for. I was just like, I've been in touch with these artists. I've got permission for these songs. This is the kind of bank of what we have got to choose from. And he was like, no, I want Elton John. I was like, mate, it's not happening. I'm really sorry. But I was like, somewhere down the line we'll use it.
Yeah.
And I'm still sitting on this track that Scott wants to use, and we'll use it somewhere. But then I was just like, look, I've got this one track, or these two tracks, and it will flow. I've got like an idea of how this edit's gonna progress, and I didn't let anyone see any footage or like any rough cuts or anything.
Yeah.
Put it out, and then it was just like, okay, yeah,
You're right.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how I'm going to go with the next video that I'm doing.
Well, just don't let anyone have any input.
Just keep it like. There's only certain people that I will respect. I respect everyone that I film, but I mean, like, there's only certain people where I will let them have a say in their song, because I know that they're really respectful to me. They want to be represented in a way that they see fit as well.
Yeah, and they'll see your vision.
Yeah, and it's only happened once, and it was with Seb Batty from Manchester. Big up Seb.
Yeah.
I chose a song on a part and sent him the rough cut, and he was like, oh, I kind of want to use this song. And I was like, fuck, here we go. And I opened it and I played it, and I was like, this is amazing. And I changed it, and I still get people come to the shopper on a session, and he skated to a country song where the guy's like, she's acting single, and people still reference that song.
Nice.
So I'm like, Seb chose the right thing at that time. And that's the only time I've ever let someone be like, dictate it, and I've actually changed it, and it's worked.
That's great.
Because sometimes it can just be, you're just like, this is shit. Like, there's one part in the video, I won't name what part or what skater, but they sent a song, and I opened it and I was like, well, this is fucking shit. And I didn't use it, and then for like a couple of years later we didn't talk. And then I eventually ended up on a trip with him, and it was like, we never spoke about it, but I was like, at the time, 8 years ago, it was probably quite like, I wanted this song. But is there any genres of music that you won't use? Because there's the genre of music that I call the Heart FM genre, where it's like soul. Like, it's such an easy, like, and I've used it before, like that song where it's like, start a love train, that way. It's like that kind of, I have used stuff like that before, and I watch it back and I'm like, why? And I call it, I call it the Heart, like the Heart FM soundtrack, where it's like almost like
Motown.
Yeah, it's like really easy to use on skate edits, but then when I see a video come out now with one of those songs, I'm like, fuck, this is boring.
I used the Gwen Stefani track on the
She's sick though.
In the Death video. Yeah, that was good.
We were talking about that the other day, weren't we, Sean? Going through that, the Gwen. What was the name of that song on Condor's bit?
Going
back to what you're saying, like when we played that back and we were trying to work out what track to use with it, but and put that on as a kind of a joke, and it worked.
Yeah,
sometimes
because no one's going to be expecting that in the Death video, are they? A Gwen Stefani song
as an opening track as well. But yeah,
it's good upon that.
Music I wouldn't use though. I'm just gonna jazz. I mean,
fucking hate jazz.
I mean, the early, not early, but like a lot of the skate calf videos use jazz, and whenever they're on, I'm just like, I get it because it's quite like it's tied to their aesthetic
Yeah.
at times. But
I do think they
like
use it well though as well. I do think they do a nice mix.
Yeah, I think so. It's not that kind of jazz which is grating. It fits.
I don't know. I
It
find it all
works.
grating, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's like with skateboarding, it's quite rhythmic.
understand
It's
jazz,
got a
man.
beat to it.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
well,
not.
this is something I was going to say. Like, no matter what music you use on anything, somebody
Someone
will
somewhere.
always go, "I don't like that." Or fuck off! Don't listen to it. Put it on mute. Or
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And
you
everyone hates
cannot
music,
go through life trying to keep everyone happy. It's impossible. So
However,
it's what you like.
They've got a style, they've got a vision, and they stuck to it. So that's admirable. You've got to respect that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't listen to my opinion.
Yeah, I won't use like soul or Motown or anything like that now because I'm just like I just grew up liking videos like the Zero videos where it was kind of like stoner doomy. I think that goes really well. But then like I want to film a part with Snaddon. He's been coming here quite a bit.
He was here yesterday.
Yeah.
And I want to film a
Fucking
part with
love
Snaddon,
Snaddon.
and like I will use just a full hip hop track to Snads because it's like it goes with him and he will make it look good as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Pink shoes.
trivia. So in Little Paradise, Snaddon's song, the Lock Off track, he chose that before the Palace video came out.
All right.
So we were technically the first people to use that track. And then the Palace video came out, and I think Lucian had that same track.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I thought, it's pretty cool.
That's good nod,
we
isn't
chose
it?
to use
Like,
it first.
yeah.
I do like. There's been a couple of songs, I think maybe 2 or 3 songs in the whole history of my filming and editing where someone else, especially in the UK's used them, and I've just been like, how did you not know? But then that's also ignorant of me to be like, how wouldn't you know that I used it? Because not everyone.
You can't watch every video. It's impossible.
Yeah, but yeah, there was. A video
This is always going to happen, isn't it?
there was a video that came out with Seb's song that he told me to use, and I was like, no way. I was like, how are you going to find
but
this
then-
random country song?
Maybe they liked it and it was a nod. You know, what do they say? It's like,
Like how the original Polar video did a nod to all of the 80s videos by reusing songs. I doubt it though. Fuck it. It's just a song, innit?
Yeah, it is.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah. There's a Roxy Music song I've always wanted to use, and then Mason Silver used it in a Nike edit.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I know I was saving it for the decimal video, and then was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Can't use
Yeah.
that.
It got to the point at the end of the third Baghead video, the funeral video, Miles had a specific song. Then like 2 weeks before, someone brought out like a all transition part using that song. And we were like, can we use it? Because that's all transition and yours is all street.
yeah.
And then we just decided not to at all. We just didn't
That's
want
your
to.
call.
I
though.
think there's also an element of not reading into it too deeply. Just it don't matter, does it?
No.
Like, no one's gonna die.
But that's
No
but that's the
kittens
beauty
gonna
of
be sacrificed.
that's the beauty of skate video site. Skate
Yeah.
video sites helped me out a lot
yeah,
in the
yeah,
past.
yeah,
Like
but-
so, I remember religiously searching songs and that and being like, "Fuck, this was used in a scene video in 1993. Can't use it." Being really strict on it, and now I'm just like, this part's better.
Yeah.
I want to go back to, we were talking about when Jerome hooked you up going on an adventure tour, and then you mentioned he asked you to go on the big push. So was that the second big push? Did you say, or the
2010. So probably was this. Yeah, it was the second China one. Yeah.
how was the big push for you?
Stressful because I had 2 VX1000's at that point. I think one of them, the color chip, busted on the first day.
Nice,
So everything was all like,
It got knocked so it went all crazy.
yeah, it was like green and orange and stuff. So
sick. That's helpful, isn't it?
yeah, it was. But that big push was amazing. We had like Barney,
Yeah.
Stu Graham, Matt Davies.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, Matt Davies.
Who else was
Yeah.
on it? I forget. It was like an amazing crew. Cradog was on it,
Yeah.
Big up, Karen.
and yeah, I got the piss taken out of me massively, just like by everyone. I was young, and but it taught me a lot to like manage filming different people, different times. I was like the only filmer on that trip, basically. It was a really great trip, and it taught me a lot of being patient and putting the effort in because everyone else was putting the effort in.
Would you do a big push again?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'd do it again.
Fucking this guy's a
Yeah.
psycho.
You hated it, didn't you? You hated every minute. You did Big Push 1 and 3, didn't you?
I didn't hate it. I look back on it with fond memories now. but
You
at the
missed out
time,
on you missed out
I
on the
was
Big
like-
Push with Ricky Oyola, didn't you? Which
Yeah,
is insane.
Oh, bummer.
couldn't do that one.
So after I did that one, there was the 2011 one, which is that one, yeah. And Jerome asked me to come back on that one for Shiner again. That was Nicky Manhead, Robbie Brockle was our guest. I forget who else was on it.
It's insane to think that skateboarding had a budget at that time to fly people in as guests.
Oh yeah.
It was
insane.
a different time.
It's
Like
insane.
there was so much more money about, and no one was rolling in it. Like,
Well, Roland
but-
Phoenix put the money in for those two.
Yeah.
You know, it's just there was just more about. Nicky Howells in that one. You got any good Nicky Howells stories? Just while we're on him.
He broke. I think he busted his ankle on a crisp packet, like slipped over a crisp packet, and then that's why he wears an ankle brace.
What flavour?
I have no idea. Well, he liked Monster Munch, I think. So I don't know. It's probably like some
He
pickled onion or something.
when he used to come and stay with me, he would love eating a shitload of fish fingers with mashed potato and beans. That was like you could quite easily get through like a 10 to 20 pack of fish fingers.
Christ.
Is that his go-to?
Yeah, it was so funny. I just remember making it for him one day, and he was like, he fucking loved it. He was so appreciative of it.
Yeah.
Right, mate.
Yeah, he's
on that-
amazing, isn't he, Nicky?
He's incredible.
Yeah.
But on that trip, I remember we went to, I think, Pizza Express.
Yeah.
And he kicked off at the waiters there because they couldn't, for whatever reason, couldn't make him a pizza without cheese. He was like massively against cheese for some reason. I think now it's like, it's easy. Just put like vegan cheese or whatever on it, or just no cheese at all. But yeah, I remember he was not happy about that.
I remember staying, it must have been in Swansea, sharing a room with him, and he was talking in his sleep, but it wasn't talking, it was screaming. Fucking, I was just like, what is going on over there? Just don't worry about that.
Maybe he was getting his fish finger order in.
I don't know, he wasn't happy in his sleep.
Cheese all over his fish fingers. Well, yeah, I guess you said that you went on to doing the stuff for Shiner as
Yeah,
well.
and the big pushes. And then from the big pushes, I forget how it worked, but Shiner obviously had Santa Cruz, or have Santa Cruz. And then the Santa Cruz clothing was like a separate bit or something.
It was licensed out, wasn't it, to...
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I
Was
can't
it
remember.
Geordie that did it?
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it. It was like, was it XL distribution or something like that? I know. Don't put it in because someone will go.
No, it's going in. No one cares.
Axel distribute.
I think so, yeah. That rings a bell. But they asked me to do kind of with Shiner and them film NAS, and I think that was the year that Stu Graham took a shit on the course.
Iconic moment.
yeah,
Big up
iconic
Stu
Did you
Graham.
film that?
No.
Who filmed that? Was it Ben?
I don't
Powell?
know, but it's an
know,
edit
I've seen
somewhere, isn't it? It's in a video somewhere.
Yeah. So
Can you put that clip up just here now of Stu Graham taking a shit? Everyone needs to be reminded of that at any
I
opportunity.
might have to blow it, but yeah,
Okay.
I'll put it in.
Sorry.
Nice.
Go on.
Yeah, so did that year, and then was asked back to do NAS again, I think 2 or 3 times after.
Yeah.
And one of the years, I think it was the year after that, Jerome was with me and we're just like walking around, and then we got to meet Matt Law and Simon Law.
Yeah.
I think Matt still does Osiris. And they were getting
does,
ready
yeah.
for the 2012 Big Push. Right. And they had a filmer lined up, but they weren't like too sure of who was going to do it or not. And Jerome was like, you just need to get James to do it. Like he'll just do it. And I was like, yeah I'm keen.
Yeah.
It's like Jerome's just like pushing me, like,
Yeah.
use this guy.
He's a good egg like that.
He's
isn't he,
he's
Jerome?
lovely. Yeah. So Jerome and Nicky, like, they've always looked out for me. They was like just got my back, and I've got nothing, like nothing bad to say. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Anyway, Matt. Turns out Matt and Simon didn't live too far from me at the time. So yeah, we met up and got to work together quite well. Did the Osiris 2012 Big Push again. Smedley was on that, so we already knew each other from the venture trip.
Big up Schmedders.
Yeah, he's like lovely. Again, he's very similar to Nicky. He's always looked out for me and wonderful. And Kate's as well was on that. And you know what Kate's like. I'd always be on
Is
the
that
phone
when
to
it all
Kate's.
took a turn for the worst?
Kind of. Oh yeah, no.
You're riding high with
Yeah.
Nicky Howells and
Nicky
Adam
Howells.
Howe.
No, Kate's is wonderful.
And then Kate's coming in like, fuck's sake.
But that was a good trip. That was. I think it was like up north but no, did we do it? No, that was the year we could just go anywhere, and that was a pretty fun trip. And that again was kind of like the precursor for, or at the similar sort of time as making my second DVD called Perfect Blues. Ugh.
Perfect
I hate it
views.
so much I can't even say it right. But yeah, that video was kind of like a messy thing. But from that, I learned a lot from making that video, and then that catapulted me to think like I need to make another full length that I'm really happy with. But that period of time just went on forever. It was like 4 years between Perfect Blues and Little Paradise, because I was contributing footage to so many different people.
Yeah, there was a lot going on then, wasn't there?
So
And everyone
much.
wanted footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was more money around then, wasn't
Oh,
there?
so
and,
much,
and
yeah.
like people were wanting videos out all the
Yeah,
time. I
yeah.
guess it was kind of that period where magazines were still, you know, doing it, but video was becoming more and more,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, the prime focus for.
Yeah, and I was
That's
helping Alan Glass out a lot with Pixels at the time, and then Jerome went to Out of Step, and then I ended up doing stuff for Brixton for a while. Was filming Jed Cullen for HUF. What else was I doing? Did a Red Bull edit at that time as well.
So when you were getting all these jobs, so we'll come on to your professional
Yeah, of
work
course,
and
yeah.
stuff, but so at that point you were kind of a freelance video
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
that was your
yeah,
thing, and
yeah,
you were doing that
yeah.
full time.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously then, you know, doing stuff for Red Bull can be quite a nice.
It was a bit of a pain, actually, really,
Okay.
that thing, because it was I forget who approached me, but they were like, "We like what you're doing in the
We want you to do it for
in
us,
the
but for
edits
no
that you're
money."
doing, and we want it to be in your style." I was like, "Cool." Well, I sent them a draft of what I was thinking. They're like, "No, you need to change that up for a Euro audience." I was like, "Oh my god!" So I had to be like coloured a certain way. Had to have their like music stuff on it. Had to have all these certain graphics and style. And it was just like
So they didn't want your style.
back to like the Perfect Blues stuff of not being happy at all with it.
Yeah.
But fuck, I can't remember. It was like didn't Etnies edit, didn't S edit. Pete Turvey at the time was in touch with Nicky and Manhead about rebuilding the WSC skate team.
Yeah.
So I was doing edits with them. It's just I can't believe I made a full length at the same time as doing all that stuff. It's pretty
Yeah, it's
wild.
pretty mental.
How was it working for those companies and getting paid from those companies? Were you doing it on like some of them like clip to clip sale basis, and some of it was like you was hired for X amount of time to make something, or how did you make a full-time job out of that?
Well,
Because now it seems like pretty unheard of to have like a full-time job
yeah.
filming skating, unless it's for a big corporate footwear brand.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting paid after each edit, not very much, and I think I was working at a book publisher at the time, doing their videos like book trailers and stuff, to like sustain me Monday to Friday, and then whenever I wasn't doing that, it was like the skate stuff was like a top up.
Did you say book training videos?
Book trailer.
Oh, right, I
got
thought you
the
said book
Barry
training
White
as a
stuff
how
going.
to read a book.
It was like, yeah, I mean, it was like videos with authors promoting their books, like, hey, story time with this guy, of you know, whatever. Yeah, it was weird. You think of a book, you're like, why would it need a video? But I mean, whatever, I got paid.
Yeah.
Toby, I know
Yes.
you're enjoying some delicious music right now with great sound audio quality, but you got to tell the listeners who's sponsoring this episode. Take it away.
Today's episode is supported by Skull Candy.
Skull Candy have been making the best quality headphones and accessories for years, with a unique design, innovative sound technology, and some of the raddest collaborations out there.
The range is everything from earbuds, over-the-head big lads, wired and wireless models, Bluetooth speakers, and even gaming headsets for the nerds. The sound quality is second to none, and the bass that comes out of the Crusher ANC2 is insane.
It is absolutely insane. And if you want to get 20% off your next purchase, make sure you head to skullcandy.eu and use the code BrainDrain20 at checkout. And Toby, let's listen to some wonderful music. But first,
Back
let's
to the
get
show.
Back to the show.
Back to the show. Back to the show.
Now, Skull Candy.
Do you want to talk more about the video stuff? Because I want to talk about the videos you do for the cancer stuff. Is that right?
So that was my last job.
Right,
My
okay.
job now is at an agency, creative agency.
Okay, so talk to us about like doing medical videos. Is that like
Oncology, I think, is the
okay?
technical
So
thing.
how did that come about? And you know, obviously going from what you were doing to doing something like that, which is infinitely more serious
yeah.
and has to be done a certain way. How was that transition? Like,
So I remember I applied for Shiner, where I'm looking for someone to come in and work with Alan to do video stuff in house.
yeah,
And I looked at that and thought, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
But then this other job for this cancer journal was going at the time. I was just like, I'd been let go from my previous job of the book publisher, and was just like, well, skateboarding is. I was quite aware that skateboarding is not going to be forever, film skateboarding.
yeah.
So I was like, well, the Shiner thing could take me thus far, but I might be stuck there. But if I want to pursue kind of filmmaking or anything, I'll go this other route.
yeah.
So I'd kind of let Alan down. He was quite bummed about me not doing that job, because I think he, at the time, I was doing a lot of stuff for Pixel still. Then he got to know me really well. We had a good rapport, good relationship. But the cancer journal I was looking at was like, I get to travel, get to do, although the subject matter is quite grim,
Yeah.
it was just like I will learn a lot more from that job that I could bring back to skate videos, or just like further my knowledge of making stuff outside of that.
So you picked up a load of new skills.
That's it, exactly, yeah. Well, it was just like filming conferences or like interviews or roundtable discussions like we're doing now, or like in hospitals, kind of behind the scenes of what goes into certain cancer treatments, or interviews with patients. And then about a year and a half into that job, I was driving in Bristol at a roundabout near Dean Lane. I was like, oh, okay. Just like stuck at the lights and felt my neck. I was like, fuck it. Got a lump there. I know that this is not like something I should be worried about. And then it's all like a weird coincidence. And the head of that cancer journal was a thyroid cancer specialist, and basically got diagnosed with thyroid cancer when I was 25. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really give a shit about the cancer. It's when they were like, oh, you need to take pills for the rest of your life after your surgery. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I had the surgery, the surgery to take my thyroid out. Had like lymph nodes and stuff removed. Then I had radioactive iodine therapy, which is like a radioactive pill. I swallowed. I was in like a lead room with like a thing to read my radioactivity.
Fucking hell.
And then and then from that I did that job for about another couple of years and was just like, yeah, I don't want to be in this world anymore.
Do you think finding the lump and working in that industry, you were more aware of that from what you from the matter?
The way I was, but the strange thing was I didn't have any symptoms, and when I was diagnosed, and a little while after the surgery, when they were, it sounds disgusting, but they were just like dissecting my tumor.
Yeah,
they were like, you've the way the thyroid metastasizes is so slow. Yeah, like you've had cancer since you were about 15 or 16.
No way.
I was like, how is that
but
possible?
You had no
idea. I was like between stage 2 and 3. It didn't spread anywhere apart from the thyroid area. Oh. So, like, I've been in remission now for 8 or 9 years. Mm-hmm. But it's just wild.
Isn't that interesting though? You know, that you took that job and that maybe made you
absolutely
like there's got I don't know.
But like so Gordon McVie, who founded the Cancer Journal, he was able to get in touch with thyroid doctors all across the world. Like I had consultations with people in Milan and like in Scotland and another few in England. He was like, okay, well, you're going to want to use this surgeon, and with your second bit of therapy, you're going to want to do this amount of radioactive iodine or whatever. Just absolutely mental.
That's crazy, isn't it? And so, excuse me. So, being in remission now for, would you say, nearly 9 years?
Yeah, I think so.
So you still have to take the medication daily. Do you have to have like blood tests and stuff regularly?
Yeah, so every year I get basically a
just
routine.
to make sure it's all.
But
is there any history of that in your family?
No, I'm the first.
Strange, isn't it?
To get cancer.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. And you'd usually get thyroid cancer. I mean, I might be getting this wrong, but I think if you're a younger female or an older male, and to my knowledge, I'm neither of those things.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
I think I'm sure. Yeah. But just like an odd thing. No one can explain why. But it was just like in that period of time of filming all that skateboard stuff, and then that job, and then Little Paradise as well.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I did all that in that space of time.
Yeah, in that time.
Yeah.
That's madness. Within skateboarding, there's certain filmers that have sort of really made their mark, you know, Dan Wolf and Ty Evans and stuff. Was there anyone in that field that was known as like, this sounds like I'm taking the piss, but I'm not, but is there someone there that's like the Dan Wolf of that industry or?
Within cancer stuff?
Yeah, within that field of medical stuff.
I mean, I probably, just from my experience, Gordon, who was the head of the Cancer Journal, he was, whenever we'd go to cancer conferences or whatever, he'd always know everyone and be just kind of like the hero.
Yeah.
And he died really tragically, and he ended up getting prostate cancer.
Right.
And it was during when COVID was like high, and he went into the hospital, and contracted COVID, and I think he died from COVID.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, he was like in his 80s or something when I was there. The journal. He said he would never stop working. It's like if you stop working, you're just going to die. So you never stopped.
Yeah.
So having cancer, then dealing with that as well, how did that affect day-to-day filming?
So I had to take about like 2 months off after the surgery to rest.
Yeah.
And then I think
sorry to cut you off, after you got the diagnosis, did your body feel any different? Because my mum had lung cancer, and she said she'd have like little bits and pains here and there. But it wasn't till after the diagnosis and it was implanted that a professional had said it's there, that then she said that she felt like her body then started to weaken after she had that diagnosis. So that would be a result of the ongoing stress with it as well, because certain cancers feed off certain stress. Did you have any of that?
No, it was only after the surgery that I felt better.
No
I
way.
didn't feel anything during when I had it, but I remember one memory sticks out in that I was driving to London with Andy Coleman whilst we were filming for Little Paradise, and he was just like, James, can I touch your neck? And we were like driving, he's like, oh shit, so that's cancer right there. I was like, yeah, don't remind me of that, please, mate.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd go for walks whilst I was before the surgery and be like, oh my god, I've got this thing and I want it out.
Yeah.
But before that point, you're just normal, but it's that knowledge that something's there, and just this alien thing that needs to come out. But I forgot what your original question was.
You said you felt better after.
Yeah.
So how did you feel better?
I don't know, just in my body I felt healthier and lighter, I guess.
Yeah.
Strange feeling.
Yeah.
But so I forget where. No, it was. So it was like 2 months off recovery, and then I remember we went to Copenhagen between the surgery and the radioactive iodine, and I had to have a very, very specific diet, because when I came back from Copenhagen it was the radioactive iodine, so it was just like no food that has iodine, so I couldn't eat fish or certain things like that. So that was a little bit trickier. So dull, like so boring to say.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting, isn't it? It's just that whole process, and like taking radioactive pills and stuff. It's just mad, isn't it?
I've got a picture I can send you when you can put it up with. Like, me and
It's just crazy to think that if you didn't take that job and you stay like you said in China,
that's what I mean.
and
I
then
just think
for
that's
a
kind
couple of years in China, then if it would have ever
spread.
if we would have been sat here even talking about it, or if it would have been 30 years down the line, you were still filming Little Paradise at that time, or had you finished filming Little Paradise at that time?
I was still filming it then.
So you took the 2 months off. Or what was the timeline there from getting the diagnosis to finishing the video?
I think it was. So surgery was March 2016, and I think we premiered the video in November. So yeah, it was a good few months.
Yeah.
But I'd piss my wife off because I was just like out every weekend, and I remember her just like sit in the car with me after we got home, being like, "Are you ever going to spend any time with me?" I was like, "Yeah, but this is so important." Like, Wes was already down to distribute it, and we had like DC, Third Foot, Venture putting money into it. Just like, yeah, but I was so passionate about it.
Yeah,
had all this like amazing crew of people that I've always wanted to film a video with.
It is a solid crew of people, and one of the questions was, how did you get them involved? Was it the flirting? Was it the messaging them like, "Hey, I'm doing this. Would you like to be a part of this?"
So with Andy Coleman, I've known him since I started filming skateboarding, really, and did bits and bobs for Decimal with Andy. So we'd always be out filming together around Bristol. With Nicky, it was that relationship of like, he's always helped me out, and I've always wanted to do a part with Nicky. And then with Nicky, you have to have Snads as well. And Snads lived at the time like 5 minutes from me, so that was really easy to go out with Snads and get clips. And then Manhead was living with Ryan Price at the time, so that was easy to get both of them involved. And then Jess Young was just got on a Third Foot, I think, at the time, and obviously Andy and Jess were out all the time filming stuff for Third Foot in between. So it kind of naturally formed that way. I was like, cool, this is our like solid crew. And then I think at the time I was doing, as I mentioned, the Brixton stuff with Jason. So I had like clips I was saving for Little Paradise with Jason, and then there was like a crew, like a friend, almost friends section.
I love that kind of like, you start filming with one person, then they're connected to this person. so you get them as well. Then they're connected. It's like a tree of all the connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that as well.
It's kind of how it works, though, isn't it? Especially within skating, it's everyone linking people up.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really, really great time. I'm really proud of that video.
Yeah.
And then as you see here, a third foot made a small run of boards.
Boards as well.
Yep.
Did you put it out on DVD?
Yes.
Did you do the DVD authoring?
Yes.
What did you use to do that?
DVD Studio Pro.
Yeah. So how did you find learning that? And
I learned DVD Studio Pro at uni, and then I didn't really have enough for extras really on the DVD, so I think I authored it so that you put it in and it loops and there's no menu, it just keeps playing.
I think that was,
which was quite nice because if skate shops had it
you just
playing,
loop
you
it all
just
day
leave
long.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, the DVD Studio Pro.
Yeah.
Many furious moments with that.
But even now, I don't know how you would alter a DVD. Like, can you still?
I don't think you can do it anymore. They don't make.
I don't think laptops even have DVD ports on them anymore.
You'd have to have a laptop which is the operating system's old enough to support the last version of that. But yeah, I remember losing my mind learning that shit.
Yeah.
For one DVD.
Did you was Little Paradise your last independent full length? Because you've done videos for Decimal as well.
Yes. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did Little Paradise come out?
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Because have you done 2 or 3 videos for Decimal? Full length videos? What?
One. one full length, and then there's, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 edits.
Yeah.
Online, I think, for Gans.
And how did you get involved with doing videos for Decimal? Was that just natural?
Yeah, natural
Progression. So it wasn't so much like you're specifically going out for that. You already had footage, and they rode for Decimal, so it kind of blossomed into a video itself.
When I filmed Daylight, it was with Tom Gill, Ricky Hillier, and Scott Whitaker. All of them skate for Decimal. And after we filmed that, I was like, well, the next logical thing is to do a Decimal video. So got in touch with Gaz, and he was like, please, I've been trying to make a video for the last 16 years. Can someone please make me a video? So that video it's really special to me and to Gaz, because we managed to actually get, it was a really great crew at the time. Everyone's really keen. But also what was quite lovely is at the end of the video, all the footage at the end, which is shot by Arthur Loveday, I think. That's all footage that was meant to be the Decimal video all these years ago. And all that footage was just sat there, so it's like a nice circular thing back to the heritage of the shop.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, I think full-length videos are important, and you obviously think full-length are important, but do you think social media now has, let's say, corrupted the outlook of a full-length video? Because people can't seem to be asked to wait for anything. And we had this question when we first started the podcast. Someone sent it in. Today, in today's world of a full-length video, what is an actual full-length video? Because when someone says new video coming out, it's 11 minutes. That to me is just I used to make edits online longer than that. That's like an online tour video kind of edit. So the importance of videos, and do you think social media as a whole has kind of damaged
for sure
the appreciation of a full-length skate video? So I remember waiting for DVDs to come out, going into the shop every weekend, as it turned up.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that with the evolution. For example, Little Paradise, that's, I think, 25, 26 minutes long.
Yeah.
The Decimal video is 17.
Yeah.
Like in those, I think it was in the 5 years of making the span between those two videos, it's like I can't, with the Decimal video, I couldn't really extend it any longer. Yeah. Because I knew that kind of got a window of how long people would sit down for. So I made a conscious decision of making extra edits that are on the USB. Again, kind of back to DVD authoring. We knew that we wanted to make it physical because it's such a big thing for the skate shops, like its first video. So I was like, well, look at what Kev Parrott and Dan McGee have done with the Blips video. They've got in this really cool USB thing. We should do that. So we used the team picture that Leo Sharp shot of us on the USB, and I thought that was a really cool thing because people could put it on their wallets, or and everyone has got a TV, everyone's got a computer. The USB is going to go in, so people can still watch it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think computers now are losing the USBs, aren't they? Have you seen any of the
Yeah.
new? Have you seen any of the new like MacBooks or like iMacs? They're just like
USB-C.
there's like one USB-C and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like
They're bringing them back though. I mean, I've got a Mac Studio at home and I've got 2 older USBs at the back.
Yeah, you got like a port, like a you've got one of those,
Adapter
haven't you? Like
and-
an adapter
yeah.
port. Yeah, it's insane. Are you working on any full-length videos yourself right now, or are you just so involved with work and what you're doing there that having the time? Because we'll get onto the documentary you made as well. So
After Corinium, after the decimal video, I was like, right, let's go and make another one. Let's get another decimal video done. And then
Still hungry after all that time.
I was just like, I want to keep it going, and a few people were as hungry as I was, and then that really fizzled out really quickly, and everyone was just so like, oh fuck's sake, James is going to push us again. So many people just like stopped skateboarding as much, or some people got injured, and I was just like, well, okay, maybe we'll just do edits then, like short edits, and then Ricky and Scott would always be out with me, and I would film some stuff, and we did a couple of edits with Companion.
yeah,
And I was just like, okay, well, that's probably as far as it's going to go. And then I tried to flirt with the subject again. And then, our WhatsApp group was just like crickets. I was like, okay, that's it.
kind of gets heartbreaking, doesn't it?
Yeah,
When like
yeah.
certain people slow down or stop, and
That's it.
it feels like the integral part of your crew is like it's your main team members are like starting to slowly just be like,
Yeah.
like it is insane. Like that's why I give props to Get Lester Cow for getting like some of those guys got like 6-7 parts with him, and it's like it's pretty fucking it's pretty fucking
It
hard
takes a
work.
lot of work. It's a lot
Yeah.
of man hours. It's a
It
lot
does.
of determination.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And we're all like in our late 30s and like kids or whatever. And it's difficult, when everyone's got full-time jobs to get out and dedicate the time.
Yeah,
And also, I'm still doing stuff with Gaz. Like this year is the 20th anniversary of the shop, so we've got a few things planned. Like we're going to do a
Big up decimal. 20
big up
years.
decimal, yeah,
That's right.
a lock up at Spit and Sawdust.
Yeah.
And we've got the 20-year jam, I think. So we'll film some stuff around that. But I don't know. I'd like to do like another street edit or something, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
how from your point of view, filming, would you rather stick with the people and just accept that they're skating less, or try and adapt yourself? I found this recently, and like trying to get a part out of like a 20-year-old that's fresh on like they're going out and getting fucked up on a Friday, then you've got to lounge around and wait on a Saturday and hope they get on it on a Sunday. Or would you rather it age gracefully with your mates, and you're like, if a video goes from 40 minutes, then we do another one and it's 15 or 10 minutes of the same people? I feel like I'm going down that road of like, I'll stick to my mates, and when they phase out, I'll happily kind of take it gracefully instead of trying to Bill Strobeck it and be a 45-year-old guy filming an 18-year-old.
I'm with you. I'd much rather stick with the people that I know, and that at the end of the day, you've got a rapport with them and you trust them. I'd much rather be with them. If you get one trick a month or whatever, or one a year, that's gold. Because you know everyone's ethic, you
just know their schedule and like their lifestyle, and you're not having to fucking sit around waiting. Because you do all that when you're younger. Then there's that sweet spot in you like mid-20s, I'd say, mid to early 30s, where everyone's kind of like.
And also at that point, you'll know what spots they're like, what stuff they're into,
That's it.
angles you can get, and
I just
you
feel
you
like
can get the most out of them.
I'd feel like I was asking someone out that I had no interest, not no interest, nothing in common. I'd just feel really awkward if I was to approach someone now that I had no connection with, or
and then for them to just be like,
bounce.
those clips that we filmed.
Yeah, can I stick them on Instagram? Can you put on 916, mate? Can you just butcher your stuff?
Yeah, or like I've had it where you go out filming with someone and then like a month later they've one-upped it themselves on an Instagram post, and you're just like, holy
What is that
fuck,
about?
what am I doing?
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, and
Just-
and it's so disheartening being at a spot now. You've set up the camera and there's like 4 people with the phones out, because years ago a filmer would have turned around and been like, everyone put your shit away. But
I
now
did that
it's-
with the decimal video.
But now
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like everyone's just like filming on their phone and no one says anything.
What's your thoughts? You might not want to put this in.
It's going in if you say it.
Shooting open gate You just reminded me of like butchering clips into 9x16.
Oh, this is pure geekery.
Have you ever done any of that stuff or used it?
No, not yet. No.
Because I know the GH5 and 6, they can do it.
Okay. No, I've not done that. No.
Yeah, because there was.
Is that what you showed me about? Is OpenGate multiple video format? So you're not compromising on.
No, it gives you the readout, the full size of the sensor, regardless of what aspect ratio you want it to film in. It gives you the entirety of the read of the sensor.
Yeah.
So you can, and the maximum resolution. So you can, for example, if someone 50/50's down a rail, it's, out the camera, it's the rail. Open gate is you can zoom in and still get reasonable resolution and follow it through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it seems like a lot of messing around in post to be able to do it. But it's quite interesting that, because, we have it all the time. It's like widescreen or
widescreen or 916. Yeah, which one do you choose?
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Or it should just be one format. Keep it like that.
Yeah, 4x3.
4x3.
That's it.
Yeah.
4x3 sorted.
It is good, isn't it?
Digital
is good. 4x3.
It is, but then I still struggle to watch it because I'm like, there's all this space at the side of the screen now, and I still get a little bit. But then you've got certain people that are filming on VXs at the moment. I don't know what their exporting settings are, but it's so good.
So, I can't remember who's the guy who films the primitive guys.
Is it Alan?
No. Kev something.
Kev Perez?
Kev Perez, yeah.
So he was posting a thing about doing the upscaling and changing the aspect ratio slightly and to make things look different, and he did like side by side comparisons, and it's pretty good.
Just going back on like
the sort of stuff that only we would notice. Though
going back on resolution, I heard this. I don't know if you ever heard this. It's so outrageous. If so, someone told me that back in the day, the blueprint guy, so McGee, if you ever listen to this, you can say it's right or wrong.
You don't listen to this.
They purposely used to buy NTSC VXs because the picture quality was greater than a PAL VX. So all of the blueprint vids from a certain era, they all had to film on NTSC cameras.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't know how how the resolution or quality would be better
the only thing I could think of is it wouldn't be PAL 25 frames, it'd be 29.97.
No, I think I remember when Make Friends with the Colour Blue was out or coming out. I think I read or watched something with McGee or I forget. But when Marty Morawski was on, he sent McGee a load of NTSC footage, I believe. And this is all like vague memory, I might be completely wrong. But I think he sent NTSC footage and then he couldn't use it because everything had to be strictly PAL for blueprint stuff. I think that's the case.
Interesting.
I remember having a load of Raymond's footage that Consolidated wanted and having to do something in After Effects to convert it from PAL to NTSC.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, it's long.
I'm so glad that just so much of that shit doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like interlaced footage and having to run it through MPEG Stream clip to like get the interlace out to sharpen up the quality.
So much long bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. You think about it when you're saying you've got it all on your phone. It was like you film it, you capture it, something's interlaced, you open up something else, you put it back in the project file, it makes everything else on that file look blurry. So you have to de-interlace everything else. Which
again, like you lose resolution by doing that.
Yeah.
Every step of the way you're going to lose.
And then, do you remember when there was a limitation on recording lengths on some cameras?
Yeah,
it was a European law that if it couldn't be
on DSLRs, was that right?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was
cut off like
12
bollocks.
Some cut off 29. If you film in certain resolution, it would cut off because it was a European safety.
Yeah,
thing.
but there was a something which would, if your camera could record over 29 minutes 59 seconds, it would be classed as a video camera, which I'll probably hashing this and it's probably
but I've heard
but that would mean it would incur an extra tax bringing it into the country. So
that's correct.
They limited it at 29.
That's ridiculous.
I just remember being like, because we're skating, it don't matter. But if you were like filming a documentary or
filming service
or like
on
this
or a gig or something,
you'd be like, fuck, 29.
So as soon as it stops, you have to wait, start again, and you miss a split second. Imagine that halfway between, like, just between a line, the longest line in history, and you're like, press him.
Absolutely mental.
What's one of the greatest fuck-ups you've ever done filming? Have you ever fucked up, like, a really important trick, or... You know, like how Beagle touched his exposure when Reynolds backside flipped that set, and it just went... Just cut it off. Have you ever done anything like that?
Yeah, twice.
I've recorded. I've
I like
recorded.
it, it's like, twice. You know?
I've recorded clips, and on the VX, when you'd press it, and it'd be like, it'd wait a couple of seconds. And it's been mid-trick. I've done that, and we've never got the trick again.
You've obviously suffered twice. Let's hear the stories.
So the first one was Jess Young, and we were in the spot in Bristol in Easton. It's a 3-set, and there's a green rail to the side of it, which kind of like you gap out over the stairs onto the rail. And it was myself, Phil Parker, Jess Young, Andy Coleman at this spot. And if you watch the Passport edit, whole of Community, Phil does a gap out to tail slide on that. That's his last trick. And Jess did gap out to front Smith. As I was filming with the Panasonic, you know, like you could mark clips, just like the M, whatever it was. You could assign it so that you'd mark it. You know which one is the good clip. And I marked the wrong one. And as I was going through, I didn't have enough space on the P2 for the rest of the session. I was like, okay, well, I know that's not the right one, so I'm going to delete that one. And I kept one of the ones that was shit, that he didn't want beforehand, and I remember him being pretty pissed off with me at that point.
Did you download a
data recovery thing?
Yeah.
No.
So I deleted a Dead Dave clip last year. Downloaded this thing called Disc Doctor trial version. Opened it up. Opened the clip. That's the one. Went to save it. Buy the full thing, £100. I was like, I'm sorry, Dave. Your clip's not worth £100. And I was sat there really angry, and I was looking at it. I was like, how can I get around it? Like, what the fuck? And I got really annoyed. I was on the clip. I just kept pressing the mouse, and it opened in QuickTime. And I was like, oh shit, file, save. I did that like 2-3 times, like over the course of like a year, if I'd like mess up a clip or something.
Yeah.
Then,
like a little bug in the software.
And then turned it back on, tried it again. Never happened again. But I just remember sitting there going, you know, when you sat at a computer and you're so exhausted, no other options, and you're like, fuck's sake. I went like that, and it opened up in QuickTime, and I was like, yes. I even opened up the preview and screen recorded it on my Mac, you know, just to be like, can I sneak it in the video? And I tried it in the quality, and it was slightly laggy, and so that saved me. But what was the second?
The second time was with Ricky. We were filming, I think it was when we were filming Daylight, and I did the Manzori with a VX. The exposure went right the way down, and it went to black, and then he did the line again. But that was a good session. That was with Scott, Ricky, and Paul Carter. That session, but I just remember being like,
Paul Carter.
I've messed up.
I want to get Paul Carter on and talk to him about.
Amazing.
Talk to him about. I feel like he'd just be honest. Just talk to him. He'd be honest.
Yeah.
You hear that lovely noise, Toby? That is today's show sponsor. Toby, take it away.
Today's episode is supported by Primate Tools.
Primate Tools have just dropped this new ratchet tool, which is insanely good. It has an ergonomically shaped stainless steel frame and a high-impact composite handle.
It has all the sockets for your skateboard, but also features a grip tape file, a bearing pusher, and most importantly, it's got a ratchet. Sorry.
It's a great multifunctional tool that allows you to adjust axle nuts, change bearings, mounting hardware, and the kingpin nut right on top of the truck.
The all-steel ratchet system has a reversible axle kingpin socket and Phillips head and Allen key wrench that pressure fits into the side of the tool when not in use.
It is very good. It's auto-patented, which means you can only get this brilliant quality from Primate Tools, and they are available now at rollersnakes.co.uk. So, Toby, let's wind your nuts in and go back to the show now.
How do you wind your nuts in?
I'll show you.
Back to the show. Just quickly before we move on to this, but like, imagine all the this is camera stuff again. Sorry, everyone who's listening or watching. What would be if you could build a camera from scratch that could have any kind of parts or
unlimited budget,
unlimited, like, you know, physics and engineering is not a question. What would it be?
I mean, we've kind of touched on it already, but I think it would be the ergonomics of a VX1000.
Yeah. Correct.
Tapeless, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably would take not CFast cards because they're a pain in the ass. Probably like I guess just a SD cards or like a not P2 because they're really expensive, but some sort of solid state, maybe just like a solid state inside. The ability to shoot different aspect ratios and resolutions, but I think it would be like, because I'm spoilt with it at the moment at work, probably like 6K. So you've got resolution to play with that way.
Yeah.
How many more Ks can be, like, how much clearer can an image be to the human eye?
How many Ks are our eyes?
I think it's like 6 or 8K. So
Yeah.
like the higher Ks you go, obviously you'd have more resolution to play with, so you could punch in and move around and keyframe stuff. So at times you'd essentially have like 2 angles in one. So you can, like, if you're doing an interview like this, you could like punch into my eyeball, or whatever you want, if you wanted to.
Do that on that bit.
Yeah.
It would have to have the VX1 mic
Yep.
on there. Just like, don't touch that, just replicate that and copy paste, done.
We think the market's big because we film, but in reality, it's
tiny.
not.
It's a tiny market.
It would be quite small, but I don't know if it was the case with VX1 mic, because it was 12-bit on the VX1 and everything went to 16-bit.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was something to do with that change, but there was just something about it that was just
It's
amazing.
made skating sound good.
The balance is incredible.
So VX1 body, fisheye.
Fisheye,
2 Century Xtremes side by side.
what, like 3D?
The big ones.
I don't know. I guess it'd have to be spherical. So you might as well just get
the
Century
Mark
to make the Mark 1 again. Basically, what I'm asking for is a VX1 that's solid state, that can record 6K with the colour science of Blackmagic, because I'm spoilt by that now and I love it. That's probably like Blackmagic's price point, so it would cost you like $3,000.
Yeah, imagine that.
Something.
It'd
That
be
would be
amazing.
the dream.
Have you heard about liquid lenses that they're trying to do?
No?
Like, again, I'll probably hash this, but the concept is that the actual glass, that, if you know, a normal lens is liquid, and it reacts with electrical currents going through it, so it changes.
Wow.
So essentially, you could have a lens that could be telephoto zoom, and then click, type in, do a little fisheye, and then it's like that.
What, like the lens reforms?
The glass is not glass; it's liquid.
That's wild.
So but then that would adjust the focal distances and stuff because of the amount of current going through it to hold it in that position. I mean, I read about it ages ago.
Wow.
It sounds like some alien bullshit.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that sounds so
sound real.
futuristic. Like,
I'm not saying it would be water. It would be
no,
some
of
kind
course
of
not. But
clear, super clear, equal to glass, performance and, quality to a certain extent.
God.
But
Wow.
you can change it by adjusting the electric currents to make it react in different ways to create the focal. Anyway, on to the next one, Forde.
Do you think that the VX21 Mark 1 is still relevant in skateboarding now? Because personally,
The VX1.
You mean the VX1?
The VX1
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Mark 1. Did I say the 21?
You said the 21.
I enjoyed the 21.
Yeah,
I
I
had
did.
the 21.
Yeah.
The 2000 was great at night.
Yeah, I
found
had
it
a warmer
great
colour,
tonight.
that one. I liked
But the 21 was like a nice kind of in between. But do you
Yeah.
think they're still relevant in skateboarding now?
As much as I love it, and I've put myself on record to say that I think they're one of the best cameras out
Which
there.
they
I still believe that. I think that in today's climate, should we say, I don't think they're relevant. Purely from a standpoint of practicality, like Adobe and Apple made it so that DV codecs are not supported anymore.
A lot of things aren't being
So-
read, are they?
So how are you supposed to even use that technology? Whitlock, in his first and last full length, Sulis, he had to buy a 10-year-old iMac just to capture the footage and then get it onto his current computer
transfer it
to
over.
cut.
Yeah.
Which I think is like when you have to go through those hoops to get your footage usable, it's not worth it at all. And then when I stopped using the VX1000's before I shot the decimal video, I was like, I'm spending so much time and effort and money getting things fixed. Like trying to find a head cleaner because it's so bloody hard to get hold of. And then tape stopped getting manufactured by Sony. I was like, okay, this is a matter of time. And then the tapeless recorder thing that I had just like was intermittently not working. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, if I can't trust my kit, what good am I as a filmer? like people want to be able to trust me that I'm going to capture what they're doing. If there's any fuck up whatsoever, we're both going to be pissed off.
It was officially said on record. It was a VX documentary. You might have seen it, but Hawk is in the documentary, and they say, "Would you film a clip in today's in today's world on a VX?" And he's like, "No, like I'm not gonna try to film a trick and then I do it and there's like a glitch, or like the tape runs out, or there's because I've had VXs where the audio goes." And I've cleaned it, cleaned it, everything, took it apart. Like, did you ever send anything off to Kerry's Electronics? Do you remember Kerry?
I did.
No, I remember, reading about him, but no, I never did. No, all of my stuff went back to Bernie.
He had a full service, and the buttons on the tape deck stopped working, so they replaced that.
Yeah,
I mean, there and back in less than a week. It was insane.
That guy at some point must have just kept coming and coming enough through the early 90s to mid 2000s to keep him actively in work solely based off VX.
Yeah.
What year did the VX1 come out? 95?
95, yeah. Yeah, I've got my aunt works at the BBC. She's a producer, and she sent me a picture of her with a VX1000 at the BBC. I was like, Jude, do you realise the significance of this camera that you're posing with? She's like, no, I've got a clue. And it's pristine. Like, she's been at the BBC basically her entire life.
And it was it's just there.
She's just there,
like a holder or something.
It's just on a budget old tripod. I was like, Jude, this is incredible. Have the BBC still got that camera? She's like, nah, it's gone. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I threw it away. Yeah. Probably just discarded it, got rid of it.
Yeah.
It is mental, isn't it? A camera like that dated is still people still after it. Like, I mean, Sony must be aware of it.
Yeah, must be.
I think they are, but like I said, I think the market's so small. Like, look at the whole bring back the Mark 1, and they did the Mark 1 and run a 300, now they're on sale on the website because they didn't sell 300.
Really?
Because who's spending $2,000 on a Mark 1? And then you've got all the screen protectors. You've got the I forgot what brand it was. With Perspex. Yeah, I tried those, and the dust gets in between, and you're constantly cleaning it. Then when you get it on, there's a big smudge on the inside. I ended up just on the day setting it up, filming a line, taking it off, cleaning it, setting up, filming a line, and just throwing it on the floor and using the pouch it came in to put my Xtreme in. Like, and I'd spent so much money getting it imported as well, and it just didn't. Yeah. It didn't work. And then someone's built. Now they've built like a full case that holds in your Xtreme. I saw that. I seen, is his name Phil Parker, did you say? Philly Parker, he just bought out that video on Vague.
Yeah.
I think he's got one of the housing units for the Xtreme, and I seen it, and the Xtreme's already like this, and now it's like this. And
fully encases it.
It's insane.
Wow.
Did you ever, that was another one of the questions, what did you think to the Xtreme setup, and did you ever use it? And now sometimes when I watch footage filmed on an Xtreme, it's like, I don't know how to describe it because I know how to set up a camera and film, that's it. So you might be able to put it better into words, but like everything aside from the center on those lenses, it's like it goes from 720, then to 480, then to 360. And you see all these
there's a lot of aberration on
in the corners, you see these different like red, yellow, blue, different color spectrums. Yeah. It's like the lens is too big for the sensor, that it's stretching it so much that it's struggling to pull it in.
Well, I said on the skate forum, I think Neddy was asking about cameras.
Yeah.
And those cameras, they're marketed as HD cameras, but they actually only shoot 720 image, and it's just upscaled within the camera. But I used, what have I used? I've used a HVX200 and two HMC 151's, the Panasonics.
The HMC 151's are nice because it's just...
It's really light, isn't it?
It's the SD card.
SD card, yeah.
And
then, I never had the Century lens. I used like optica budget kind of lenses.
Using the Century lens on the HVX200 with the tape deck on the side, fucking hell, it was like... I ended up having to get like a pull-along case to pull it because I was having it on my back and I was getting such bad backache that when I went to the doctors, they said you're just putting all this strain on your lower back.
Oh, I bet.
Just carrying all that stuff. Like they asked, like, am I lifting anything heavy? And I was like, no. I was like, but I film and the equipment's quite heavy, and having it on the right arm, it was affecting it all down.
Yeah.
So I sold the lens. I ended up getting the HVX 250 because I thought it'd be a smaller body, and it ended up being a lot bigger.
All right.
And I sold that, everything with it, and then I've got the FS5 Mark II with the 8mm lens. And obviously you can take the handle off, If you want to film long all day, you can keep the handle on, take the top handle off, move the microphone.
Yeah, it's great.
With the 8mm lens, and it's weighted at the back, and it's the closest thing. When I set it up and filmed, I enjoyed it again, and I was like, this feels like a VX again.
Yeah.
And I just love that camera, and that's what a lot of the primitive videos are filmed
Yeah, they
on.
look gorgeous, don't they?
But they're shooting them on RAW, and I'm just doing it like 1080 because I've still got like 25% of the next video I'm doing still on the Panasonic HPX.
Oh,
So
yeah, so
I
you don't
didn't
need
want
to-
it to be like looking like VX and HD, and
Yeah.
I want to try and blend it together.
Yeah, that's it.
But in regards to like quality and look, where do you rate that camera? Do you think it's just not necessarily needed, or
The Panasonic.
the Panasonic with the Extreme? Because it's almost like it's almost turned into the
become
VX.
like the VX of
with
now. Yeah.
I think that's why people are holding on to it.
Yeah, I mean that's is going to run the same course as a VX, isn't it? It's going to, because the fisheye is not being manufactured anymore, the camera's not being manufactured anymore. It's going to get to a point where people are just going to try and hold on to it. Sorry, you're not going to have the same issue with the VX where the codec is going to be unsupported. Like they'll all still be supported. You're just they'll just over time, I guess, just degrade and fall apart.
Yeah.
But I think they look good as long as you keep, like you said, if you have a video that has that look or is shot pure on that camera, you should stick to that. Because if you bring in a thing in like a GH5 or Blackmagic, for example, or anything, it's going to look completely different. And you can color correct it or grade it however you like, but you're never going to have something that's uniform.
Yeah.
And if you're making a video, really you want it to kind of look the same, same throughout.
Yeah, 100%.
What are you using to colour grade?
This might be quite controversial, but I use Final Cut Pro for everything.
I still use Final Cut Pro X for a lot of things at home, and then here use DaVinci.
Yeah,
And I think Final Cut Pro is great if you know how to use it.
I love it. Yeah. I when Final Cut 7 became obsolete, I dipped my toes in Premiere for a while because I was working now and again at a film studio in Bath, helping them out, and they moved over to Premiere because it's quite similar to Final Cut. I mean, Premiere just copied Final Cut's non-linear interface, and then I forget who it was. I think it was in the cancer job. They started to use Final Cut Pro X, and I was like, okay, I need to learn this then. So I really took the time to go deep into it, and with every new iteration of Final Cut, I make a point of trying to learn as much as I can about it. Just try and be as good as I can from it. And a lot of people don't like the way it looks because it's still got the stigma that it did when it came out of just like, oh, it's back to like almost iMovie. It's oversimplified.
Yeah, it's real simple.
But the way you look at it,
hidden in it.
that's
as well.
it. You just open the drawers and it's all there.
Yeah.
Everything's in. And the way it is now, with the magnetic mask, everything, you've got these like amazing roto tools. At work, we do a lot of stuff with actors or with interviews, and the audio cleanup within it is incredible. So there's a guy at work called Jack who every day he's like just fucking hating it. I'm just like, well, mate, if you used it properly.
Yeah. If you
But
took
no,
a
he
minute
does.
to
He's
learn
a lovely
how,
editor. He's a brilliant editor.
if you took a minute to learn how to use it, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm joking, Jack. You are a great editor.
Let's go on to your documentary piece, My Friend Who Died.
Yeah.
Let's go on to that, and then
so let's
then we
go
can
that.
go on to some other freelance
Yeah,
work
cool.
and what you've done there. But talk to us about. So I guess you were firmly already rooted into doing freelance and stuff outside of skating, even though that is a skateboarding piece. It is still very documentary piece as well. And one of the biggest heroes in that piece was his dad. Like I loved his dad in that, and like the amount of like he dedicated himself to it.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that whole series of events and how long you've been working on the documentary, where the idea came from, etc.
Yeah, of course. So Jamie died in a plane crash in 2007. It was the result was basically the pilot was on ecstasy.
Yeah.
And the plane essentially went up in the air for 14 seconds and came straight back down. And there's a lot of, for legal reasons in the documentary, I couldn't really go into too much detail about what was going on with the pilot. But online it's quite easy to find Robert's piloting history.
Yeah, if you Google it, it's...
Bottom line is he shouldn't have been flying a plane and should not have been allowed to fly a plane whatsoever. And so Jamie was, just before his 14th birthday, he died, and I was 17 when he died. And ever since that, obviously, like I said, I picked up the camera and was just like the filmer within the group. So I have like a mountain and amassed a huge amount of footage of us growing up and like our formative years skateboarding at the skate parks and the street spots when we were like early to late teens. And when Jamie died, I thought, oh, I've got this like skate footage. I want to do something to honour his memory. So I did this kind of like almost like a skate edit music video style thing. But at the time, I don't know, I wasn't pleased with it. So I just like shelved it. And then a few years later, when I went to uni, I think I made another piece and thought, oh, I'll revisit that. And then it was like news clippings and stuff of Jamie, and again, wasn't happy. Just kind of shelved it. And then I think it was whilst I was at uni, the skate park was built. Everyone's together. We've still got like Jamie's memory there, and I was still like filming the skate clips. Everyone at the skate park. So the skate park we used to skate in Emerson's Green was modernised and was made the Jamie Lee Clapp Memorial Skate Park. And then after the skate park was built, everyone kind of just like disbanded, and that was almost like we weren't able to grieve because we'd just been going full out with getting the skate park built, and then you're all like
just jumping
early
straight
20s.
into work, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And it kind of just hit a lot of people really hard. It's like, shit, we've not stopped, and kind of thought the fact that we've lost a really close friend.
Like the reason what we're doing it.
Exactly,
for,
yeah,
like,
yeah. And then every July, I'd think about Jamie. So my wife's grandmother, sorry about that. My wife's grandmother died the same day that Jamie died. So July the 8th is a day that we never forget. Fast forward many years on, last March, I hear that Jamie's dad, Gordon, has died. And I think, right, maybe I'm mature now and I've got all this material. I can start thinking of another way to tell a story. So I start to like just think of ways in which I could tell the story of Jamie's life and death and what his death brought to so many skateboarders within the community in and around Bristol. And then a couple of months go by, I'm at my friend's wedding. This is May last year. And Russ and Jack, who I work with, they're talking about various different things they're doing. And I just had this like fear of missing out. I was like, well, I've got this story inside me of my friend, and I don't know how to tell it. So we're there like several beers deep, just figuring out what the story is. And they're like, well, James, it's staring you in the face, mate. Just tell it from your perspective. And I was like, oh yeah. So I just was scripting the story and I wanted to make it so that I didn't have to rely on anyone to tell the story. Yeah. So I was scripting the piece and knew that I wanted to get a few other voices in there that grew up with Jamie to tell the story of what he meant to them and what the skate park has given all the community.
Yeah.
So I put that together quite quickly.
I was going to ask how long it took from like actually jumping back into making it to it finishing, like the timeline of how long it took.
Yeah, well, after I figured everything out, I think I started shooting it in June last year.
Because I guess you already had the archive stuff,
exactly,
you already had the news clipping, so that back-end research was already done. You just had to, it's like you already had the puzzle, you just had to find the remaining pieces.
Yeah. And my aunt, like I said, who worked at the BBC, she was able to get all the archive stuff the BBC had shot all around Jamie's life and death.
Amazing, yeah.
So that really helped me to build a story. And then...
So imagine going through the BBC site and
you
trying
can't get it.
Trying to find news and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were really, really helpful.
Yeah.
And then, it probably took me like 6 months to shoot and put it all together. And then my friend, again, Russ, who I mentioned, he runs a film festival called Homegrown Shorts. And I was like, do you reckon we can have it at the festival? He's like, absolutely.
Yeah. Good.
So it's always held at the Curzon Cinema in Clevedon, which is the oldest purpose-built cinema in the UK. I mean, you can think of like a decadent red velvet cinema. It's a lovely auditorium. And it was premiered there in March. And I don't really remember much from the premiere. All I was focused on was all these old friends, in mine, Jamie's old friends, everyone's back together again. I was just so focused on what they thought of the film. And in my peripherals, I just hear like all the applause and everything. And I was just like, I didn't pay attention to it. I was just so focused on what my friend Ollie thought.
It's like being at escape prem when you've done a video, you're like kind of watching everyone, and you know when the quiet bits are going to come, you know when the hype bits are going to come. You're just focusing on the crowd, that when it's done, you're like, oh, fucking hell, it's finished.
Yeah. And the main thing that I wanted to make it, my focus with the film is to make it so it's honest, so it doesn't feel like a Netflix documentary where it's really trying to get you to fucking cry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it so it's a story of what young people can do and a skateboarding community can do in honor of a friend, and what you can give other people through skateboarding, a space for people to use. And then one of the things that Gordon made sure of is that there was places for people to sit. So you families come in, they can watch their kids use the park.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So it really made sure it was a space for everyone to enjoy, not just skateboarders. So yeah, there was the premiere at the Curzon. I also showed it to the Mangotsfield School students, film and photography students, the school that Jamie went to.
Yeah.
And for them, it was quite like a legend story that none of them were alive when Jamie died. So for them, they were just like, they're so impacted by the story. It's like, we know the skate park, and we've heard this like rumor of this Jamie Clapp guy.
Yeah.
And then for them to see it on screen and who he was and what he brought to so many people.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then I recently done the final screening was a couple of weeks ago. The council organised it, and it was at a community centre, and that was really fun. I had to do like a Q&A and speech on stage and stuff.
Yeah.
How was that, giving a speech?
Fine. Because I'd already done the film festival. Had to be on stage talking about it there. Been in front of the students talking about it, so I just had this kind of like in my head, almost like a beats that I needed to hit, and as long as I hit those, just go with it.
I thought it was quite good and honest in the sense of like the name of it, My Friend Who Died.
Yeah.
And like just straight to the point. And then like in the credits as well, you were laughing because you used to record his own songs.
Yes.
Then you put it in the credits. When I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it clicked, and I was like, oh, it's him singing it. So filming and editing that, like emotionally, was it like quite difficult kind of like editing it, or was it like, you know, enough years had passed to, you still get emotional about it regardless of how many years passed, but like editing it, how was it sitting down and actually, how much time was you putting into the editing? Was you like, right, I'm going to dedicate a couple of hours?
Oh, every week I was putting in as much time as I could, and there was only, I approached it in the similar way that I do with my job, and that was quite methodical with it, and kind of was able to step back from it and just see it as a piece that I was putting together. But there were 2 points in which kind of got me choked up. The first one, like you said, Jamie's song, I knew that had to be in the film, and I knew it had to be the credits, because you got the payoff of me talking about it earlier on in the film, and I needed it to be like the final closer to make everything make sense. And I couldn't find this song anywhere. Jamie's family didn't have it anywhere, and I had it on a skate edit, and obviously got like the skate sounds and us talking and stuff on it. It's like, I don't have a clean version of this. While goes by, my wife is just like, oh, it's in the loft in a suitcase on a mixtape. I was like, like, we've just like throughout all of our house moves and stuff, just been carrying this track with us on this like random mixtape. Put it in CD, ripped it off, put it in straight away.
Yeah, amazing.
So that's one. That was one that was like a really nice moment. And then the only part in the film which would make me tear up every single time I put it together, and then when I watched it in the cinema, was when Harry says about the footprints on the bench and how he doesn't sit on it because he considers that's where Jamie's sitting.
Yeah.
Sorry. That to me, just like the sincerity of what he's saying, and how his footprints are there. That's like a piece of him.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah, that to me was just like, when I was recording him say it didn't really click at the time, but then when I watched it back and put it in with the picture,
it's so good, that documentary piece. And like, just watching it for his dad as well. Like watching his dad, I was like, fuck, that's like a dedicated dad.
He did not stop.
That's what he should be. Like, was there from when it happened, when the events happened, and he probably spent the rest of his life constantly pushing towards that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, even up to the point where he died, he was just like, I need to get more for this park. We need to get like Sainsbury's were meant to put money in to get floodlights done. There's no floodlights still. And the park is 14 years old now.
Yeah.
But I hope they'll do something with that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the documentary itself I mean, the council, it's so long to get anything done. You like to think that you would have spent countless hours making that documentary, send it to them and be like, if the right person can watch this, to be like, oh, that means something, and let's just get the floodlights up and make sure it's maintained. But councils just take fucking...
Well, they've been brilliant, actually, the council.
Yeah.
I put it on Reddit, and they saw it on Reddit, and literally the day it was on Reddit, sorry, the trailer, sorry, when I put the trailer on Reddit, the day that I put it up, they were like, what's your email? Let's do something. And
yeah, that's good.
The councillor, Abby, he's incredible, and he's just so driven to make sure that this story in this place is there for everyone and for like generations to come. Because he can see the value in skateboarding and what a skate park brings to not just skateboarders but to everyone.
Yeah, which is good because a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
A lot of people honestly don't. Like there's
It's changing. It used to be a hell of a lot worse. But...
Oh yeah, you still get to this day though. Like a new skate park's just been built in Leicester, and like there's loads of people like give the youth somewhere to go, and then it's like right, here's a skate park. They don't want a skate park. It's a load of fucking noise and a waste of money. But it's just something that skateboarding's always faced, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that the documentary went down well. Like I said, it's one of the first things for a long time. I've sat down undivided. I watched it on my lunch break here, and just watched the whole thing start to finish. And it was just really good. It was overall it was a good piece there. So I'm sure everyone would have been stoked on that as well.
Same with me, really. Like that's one of the longest things. Not that it's even really that long, but
that's 20-something minutes.
Yeah,
I sat down and watched it straight away.
Yeah, uninterrupted. Yeah, usually I'm like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to pace it so that it could feel... I mean, the intro itself is like nearly 5 minutes long. So it's like a quarter of the film just on that intro. But I wanted to make it... I mean, that in itself, that intro is kind of a love letter to a film called Enduring Love, which is a film that impacted me quite a lot when Jamie died. The parallels are just crazy. It's about... I don't know if either of you have seen it, but it's based on a Ian McEwan book, and the intro of the film... So it's like a pre-Bond Daniel Craig, isn't it, with Samantha Morton. There's a hot air balloon accident. Someone dies in this accident. And literally someone just falls from the sky. Yeah. And then it's the catalyst of what that hot air balloon accident, what happens after it. And the intro for that is just like this gorgeous British countryside, and I just wanted to emulate that. Basically like some of it is shot for shot. But yeah, I wanted the flow to feel watchable. And I think initially my first cut was around like half an hour. And I just like was cutting as much as I could back in order for what I wanted the story to still come across.
Yeah, it's a really good piece.
Did you through the premieres watching it, did you ever sit there just thinking, fuck, I talk a lot in this, and having to hear your own voice back and just being like, because sometimes when I listen to these back, I'm like, oh, I forget that's what I sound like.
I don't listen to any of these back.
You're too important for it, aren't you? When
I
they're
just
out there.
haven't got the patience.
Yeah, but you know, like sitting there because you narrate all of it. Was there ever a minute where you're like, I'm talking to?
Yeah, will people get bored of this voice? I mean, I've got like a bit of a sore throat, so I'm like Barry White today. Yeah, but that's kind of why I wanted the other people's voices in there to break. Because I can say those things. But it's nice to have other people in our community say these things as well, because it would mean a lot to bring them in. It shows that it's like a fuller piece for that.
Yeah, it's like not a community.
Because it could just be like, oh well, if it's all from my perspective, is it all truthful? Yeah. But if you've got other people to back that story up, it means much more.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
it's still congratulations on it. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so now I'm just it's online. I'm just let it do its thing. I've done the promotion for it all now. So
I think it's been received pretty well as well. Like everyone seems to be enjoying it, so that's good.
Where do you want to go from here?
Just the last few bits on freelance work and after skating, and where skating's took you in regards to, like, because you were saying music videos and stuff like that, and other work that you do. So what other work have you covered outside of skateboarding, aside from your job within videography?
So my friend Danny, who was in this band Foxjaw, I've done pretty much most of their videos, and then he's working on another project and doing those music videos as well. But that I kind of approached it in the same way as skate videos, where we've got the track and kind of like pace everything to the music. Yeah, that's been quite a natural progression. Sorry, but then so my day job, I work at a creative agency, and it's all just a lot of like kind of like corporate films, but we also do training. But we approach training almost like dramatic training films in a way. So it's a lot. I mean, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, like NDA wise, but if you look up Harleys, you can see the client list on there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of like variety of companies we do stuff for. So it's every day is different, and I can, for example, like one client was like, we want to get these shots of people doing these certain things. I was like, well, I'll just bring a skateboard, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, just shoot like a skate video. And it was like really low shots of people's feet on the ground and tracking people. We're in this place, this old like fire training centre. No way to get a dolly and track there because it's just like rubble.
It must blow their mind that they think like they don't have to set up a dolly track. They can just have someone get on a board, go low, and just hold it. And I've done jobs like that as well. And I think they don't think it's going to come out as good as it
Blows
is.
their mind, yeah.
But then a little bit of stabilisation on it if you need it as well.
Exactly.
And it looks great.
Probably also blows their mind how quickly you were like, I can just do it on that. Done.
Yeah.
And they're probably used to
Exactly,
people sitting around for days,
No,
and then you just skateboard.
Yeah, I was filming people. You know, was on a job in Sweden. And we were like, there's going to be this guy running. How are we going to film that? Skateboard.
Yeah,
it's easy. But and then the client was just like, how do you do that and not fall off? And with the camera, and it's just like,
because I'm fucking
nature.
I've been doing it for a decade. Yeah.
Imagine if you just turn around and just went, because I'm fucking professional, bitch.
It's kind of like the skateboarder's mentality. You see it a lot within skating. It's just you just get it done, don't you? Just
You
like,
do,
We'll do it that way.
Yeah, turn up, camera on, get it
Just
sorted,
get it done.
straight in.
I think the thing is with skateboarding, it is when you're figuring tricks out and stuff, it is problem solving, isn't it? So I think it just gets you used to generally in life just being quite good at problem solving in
Sorting
general.
things out, making it work.
Well, not only that for me,
And
it's like
patience.
not only that for me,
definitely,
it's like
definitely.
To give yourself the time to just be like, right, what are we actually wanting to do with it? Like, how are we going to do it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, and you get that with the edit as well. Like, an edit is a puzzle. You never really know where you're going to go with it. You just need to put some pieces down, and then you're like, oh shit, everything else will build around that.
it is that skateboarding mentality. Like mine is like, if I'm learning a trick, I want to learn it as quick as I can and get it done. But it's like, with filming, you still want to you want that approach, but you still want to do it to a good professional level as well.
What kind of, like the videos you're making now? Then what are we looking at? Like what kind of stuff is it? Products or brands?
Brands. A lot of like stuff with 5G connectivity and like how tech works with like different things and like helping society with certain things. Like I've done a lot with like safety within cars.
And you shooting all these on Blackmagic cameras?
Yeah, all Blackmagic cameras.
Is it your own stuff or are some jobs provided?
No, my work's we've got all of our own kit.
Amazing.
So all our own lighting. We'll get assistance with like sound recorders and stuff if we're doing drama pieces. But
do you ever break out the fisheye in any of the shots?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Nice.
The running one that I mentioned.
Yeah.
I did the fisheye with that.
But that blows people's
Yeah, it
mind.
does. Yeah, incredible. You can get like 2 feet away. What the hell?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, some of it's product and then other stuff is just like, but it's annoying. I can't really say too much because I'm under like NDA with it.
Don't want to get you arrested.
Yeah, no.
No.
Get in trouble
Breaking
by the
NDAs.
NDA.
No, exactly. Yeah.
The NDA. police
Would
be
you
a-
say working in filming, doing what you're doing, brings more excitement for when you do go skating as opposed to if you were skating for a job and then you were like, right, I'm just going to film my own friends.
Absolutely.
But fuck, I want this weekend off.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's sometimes how I feel, even being here a little bit, just being around skating and then wanting to do it. Sometimes I'm like, when I'm upstairs, like editing one of the podcasts, I'm like, I don't want to talk about skating, and then I just want to do it. So do you feel like working in that, say, commercial line of work brings the enjoyment back to just filming things for yourself and actually skating yourself as well?
Yeah, 100%. And I get it even less because I've got 2 young kids. I've got a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old.
I'm going to say, how do you balance the skate life, dad life, work life?
Yeah, I mean, having a family, it's just like I've got, I don't know, 1 day a month maybe. Yeah. And even then, sometimes like if on a decimal chat, it's like, oh, going to go to the park or like, anyone fancy filming anything? I'm like, do you know what? No. I'm like the other day, I threw my board down and I just went.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, I'd done like 8 miles or something, 10 miles or whatever it was. And then just like, I just kept pushing. I just went,
just skating.
had headphones in. I was like, that was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
It sometimes it is just going back to that basic skating.
Yeah.
Skating around. Yeah.
I think it's really good.
enjoyable.
Like something I've learned, getting older and
No, Toby,
skate
you
for
don't
such a long time.
age. You'll stay young forever.
I have had periods for years where sometimes I just don't want to go skate. But what I really enjoy now is when I'm in that period, similar to what you were saying, I just get a cruiser board and just go and push around for a bit. And that keeps you kind of really sort of in tune.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
it's, really, it's almost like therapy, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Yeah.
Like just cruising about and keeping your body moving.
I just want to do something like, you know how Barney did the big skate and Dan Catchy did the big skate, just going from one place to the next, but just skating it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there'll be like the odd time when I'm just going to skate to work, and just like, especially if you've got like good cruiser wheels on. I want to put those power wheels on, and you just push, and there you go. You're like, fucking hell, this is so enjoyable.
Nice.
That it's like, it makes you forget the weekend before where you're at a spot and you're just like, fuck, I want to go lay down and getting like fed up of it. But yeah, no, just pushing around itself saves skating, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I use Richter Clouds they're my wheel of choice.
I want fucking step on those if I was on
really?
fire.
Oh, I love them.
No,
really?
I've got some. I have had Richter Clouds. I'm just joking there, but I've got some. They're like a power wheel cruiser wheel, but it's also like a downhill longboarding wheel, so it still has a bit of a slide in it.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
So I used to have OJ.
Dragon Formula.
I had like OJ wheels, and then without going too much into it, because he's had like bad, but I fucking love it. I recently met the Powell team and got to hang out with George Powell and talk about wheels and stuff. And he was like, "What wheels are you skating?" And I was like, "OJ's with Bronson bearings." And the team there were like, I was like, I film on these wheels as well. And they were like, "We're going to give you this wheel paired with this bearing, and you're never going to skate anything else." And I fucking put them on, and I pushed to film a line, and the whole line I just didn't push. I just pushed, and it went, and it was like a line going one way on a curb, turning around to another way on a curb, and then going out. And I just pushed, turned, and it went. And I was like, fuck, this is... Those wheels made me want to skate to work when I came back off this trip. Instead of biking 3 miles, I just skated because it was like,
Let me know what they are.
It was like push, and they just went. Yeah. And it was amazing, so...
On that note, just to counteract that, I mean, OJ, the Super Juice wheels are great filmer cruiser wheels.
I set those up a while ago, didn't I? The orange ones, they're fucking really good.
But nothing bigger than, what is it?
I had the 56.
There's the
but I won't
55 or 60.
I won't go anything bigger than a 60,
Yeah, nothing bigger than 60.
Right, okay.
But I got some Dragon Formula 83A nil blender wheels.
Nice.
And they are fun. They're so smooth, fast.
Cool.
I mean, you're only going to go as fast as you push, but they're quiet. They slide a bit. It's just good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
We nerd out about wheels all the time, don't we?
I love a good wheel chat.
But bearing is key. It's got to be a good bearing in there.
Yeah.
There's no point getting some good wheels and some real...
I think I've got like Super Reds in or something. Like
Yeah.
really
Yeah, they
old.
can get away with that. We'll
They're
let
okay.
that pass.
Yeah, I'm down for
We'll
that.
let you off. Should we... I want to go and have a skate, if I'm honest.
No, it's so warm outside.
Let's all go and have a little skate.
Go and have a little roll around.
Let's have a little...
Whilst he's got his camera here, let's put him to work. We'll film a full bit.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That was great. Good fun.
Could have probably gone on with camera nerdery a bit
I
more.
mean,
but we need,
we
but
could
we need
do,
to know
but-
the limit to the 50-year-old listeners out there.
That's
They're
it.
probably like, "What's a camera?"
Doubt it. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
And,
Right,
there you go.
let's go have a skate. Round
Over
of
and out.
applause in the studio.
Boop,
Audience,
boop, boop.
please.
Thanks, mate.
Let's go film a
Cheers.
full skateboarding video.